Welcome, everybody, to Crunch Time with Jeff Iafrate, Booner, Lukas Klotz, and Michael Gentry. And we're back. It's Tuesday, February 6th.
Baby.
And we got a packed show plan for the people. That's what we got. Booner, he'll be here in a couple minutes. You know, he had a long drive from work. All right, he's working his way back. We'll give him an excuse for today. But, boys, how we feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good. Just had a workout. Stopped at the liquor store on the way home.
Okay,
had some chicken. Some Jack. No, something
Jack
light.
on a Tuesday night. So Lukas Klotz way.
I was driving home and I was like, need something refreshing. Time to unwind. Had a long week last week. Was working both Saturday, Sunday. Figured unwind with the fellas. Get some Jack. Get it going. Have a good show.
Let's do it.
We got people joining as always. We'll give the shout out to the people that were here, of course, when it started. Anakin Sky Ogre, appreciate you for joining. Shift God, Mike G is in the chat as well. Eduardo, appreciate you. ETN, my guy, appreciate you for joining the show. We got Detroit Fan Man,
Shout out.
Odysseus, and of course we got some other Dark Flame as well. Lions Troll, Coach Walk, John Lord. Appreciate you guys, man, for joining. Vincent Ellison, Freddie Felt, the same crew, man, and also. We got someone that wants to have a drink with you, Isaac. He said, Lucas, let's drink. So, look, Isaac, pour one up, man. We got 2 hours. So you got plenty of time to finish it. There you go. We got Ryan Lenson here as well. How do you know? How do you know, Lens? He must have saw me.
He's following you.
Subway. He was following me. Subway, hey, man, it's mid, but hey, it gets the job done. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Devin as well, Mr. Detroit City. Wheezy D, everybody, man, we appreciate you. We got a packed show plan for you guys today. As you can see in the title, we're going to go through breakout players for the Lions. We'll give our top 5 most important Lions players as well. We'll break down Anzalone's comments. Anzalone.
Like that.
He had some interesting comments about Dan Campbell. Just the last game of the year, some decision-making. He stood on business. So we'll go through his comments as well. We're going to have a discussion in a couple of minutes here. It's been trending among the Lions fan base and the Vikings fan base.
Oh,
the voice of Oakland, Neil Rule.
Yeah, I want to react to this.
The president. He did have a statement that triggered a lot of people. A lot. Like actually 500,000 people. To be exact.
Neil
and we'll break that down. And I think it's fitting we got the ball nowhere to help us break it down too. So it'll be a fun one today. We'll just get it started with that. We'll play the video here in a couple of minutes. Also to mention, we'll be going through ESPN just did a redraft of the Lions 2023 NFL draft, guys. This will show you just how impressive this draft was. Like you'll see where players go. They did a fun redraft. I love that, especially when you have a GM like Brad, because you just look and you say, well, you know what? Yeah. About a handful of guys they drafted, all first-round picks. We'll break that down. But here's the clip by Neil Rule stating an opinion, which everyone has an opinion. And I love Neil. We love Neil. We're big Neil stands here. He's a GOAT. But here's what he had to say, and we'll break that down. Here it is.
Amon-Ra St. Brown at this point in his career is further ahead of almost any wide receiver ever. Like this Justin Jefferson that you all love and worship, he's further along at this point in his career. Look at the numbers.
I can't
look at the numbers.
See, that's
look at the numbers, Flannel. That's what I'm talking about. The numbers. Look at them.
Well, I'll also look at the fact that Justin Jefferson had 1,000 yards and played 9 games this year. I look at the fact that in terms of the numbers, in terms of production per games played,
that's a flavor thing, though, Sam Flannel. Like that depends on your flavor. Like
we've had this
discussion before. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown gets overlooked because he doesn't catch the 60-yard deep ball. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why. It's not that he's an inferior receiver. He is not. It's the nature of his game and the nature of what he's asked to do in the offense, and he does it as good as anybody in the National Football League. I'll back that up. Could Justin Jefferson do Amon-Ra St. Brown's role as well as Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Of course not.
Of course not. But that's what you see. That's what you see on the highlight shows. You see Justin Jefferson in the jump ball situation. That's what you see that, so you're programmed to think that. Maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're automatically conditioned to say Amon-Ra St. Brown's not as dynamic as a Justin Jefferson. But when you put it all back together, every bit of the production is there.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will say this before I hand it off to you guys, and you guys feel free. I want to say Neil's point about St. Brown giving him praise. I get it. Like, he deserves all the praise in the world, right? He's one of the best. He was an all-pro this year. He's a stud. We're all St. Brown fans.
There's levels.
Yeah.
There's levels.
That's just the easiest way to put it. There's levels, and it's no disrespect to St. Brown by any means.
Yeah, no, it's not. But Lucas, and I'll let you start with this. Can you explain, like, because he asked a question, which, you know what, we'll bring it up. Can Justin Jefferson, I can't believe I'm asking this, do Amon-Ra St. Brown's job? Like, what? And this is where it's funny. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4th round pick, stud, right? 1,500 yards this year, double-digit TDs. But they're not even in the same, like, in terms of all-time wide. Like, Justin Jefferson is being compared from his first handful of seasons to Randy Moss, to those types of receivers. You're not comparing St. Brown to all-time. I think he could end up as an all-time great, but I'm talking about as a career start so far. Justin Jefferson's on a different level.
Yeah, because you can even look at, if you want to say, well, numbers are similar, the numbers are similar. Okay, so if the numbers are similar, then who is the more talented player? Who's the guy that just came into the league? And Amon-Ra St. Brown, to your point, has been a very good, he's been a first-team All-Pro. But then you have the guy that is setting the precedent right now in the NFL. And you ask unanimously around the NFL, you ask every NFL cornerback, who is the toughest one-on-one cover? Plain and simple, because at the end of the day, that's who the best pure wide receiver is. They're going to tell you Justin Jefferson, and if they don't, they're going to tell you Tyreek Hill. It's going to be one of those two guys. Yep. Amon-Ra St. Brown can be great, but that has nothing to do to start taking away from Justin Jefferson, who he's a Minnesota Vikings player. I get it. He's in the division. He's a rival. You don't like him. And he might not be able to block it just as well as Amon-Ra St. Brown. But that dude is without a doubt the best, the number one wide receiver in the NFL if you don't want to put Tyreek Hill there. That's the way I look at it. I think it's just it's a slappy take. I don't hate it because I can understand what Neil's saying as far as who can do Amon-Ra St. Brown better than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Well, nobody. But who can do Justin Jefferson is better than Justin Jefferson? Nobody. You can use the same exact argument with Jettas. So I just don't see where the point is.
Yeah, and to kind of like piggyback off what you said, Jeff, that Amon-Ra St. Brown can't be Justin Jefferson. Obviously, he cannot be, but like if the roles were reversed, Justin Jefferson would be doing, obviously the scheme would be switched up a little bit, and they would be doing different things with Justin Jefferson in the offense and Amon-Ra St. Brown. But to say that he couldn't come in and be like a number one wide receiver on the Detroit Lions, or they couldn't swap places, or Ben couldn't figure out a way to get Justin Jefferson involved is just, it's just crazy to me. And it's no disrespect to Amon-Ra. I don't want to swap Amon-Ra with anyone. I want him as our wide receiver one.
Yeah. He's top 5 still.
Like, yeah, it's just, you got to give respect where it's due with a guy like Justin Jefferson.
And I saw a comment here, and I want to make sure I give credit because I do have the data to kind of back up the comment. I want to make sure I find it here. It was essentially
Flannel's been getting put through a ringer back-to-back days in a row, man.
I know. I think Flannel. Yeah. Yeah. I love Flannel. That's my guy. But I want to bring up. Oh, here we go. We'll get back to him. Joining us right now.
There he is.
Let's go.
I'm here, baby. You guys hear me?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
we can.
Loud and clear, Boone.
Boone, we're just to catch you up real quick, Boone.
I've been listening.
Oh, perfect. So I want to go through the targets, and then I'm going to let Boone have the floor here, okay? So they brought up the targets, right? Justin Jefferson, he's targeted, way more than St. Brown. This year, Amon-Ra St. Brown had 164 targets. Last year, he had 1,500 yards. It's great. Like, he had a great year, all-pro year. Justin Jefferson last year almost had 2,000 yards, and he was targeted 187 times. So 184. So 184 targets compared to 164. That's 20 more targets, guys. Like, let's not act like, he's 100 plus more targets. I mean,
he has the most yards per game in NFL history.
And I don't want this to be, it's not even a slander, St. Brown. We're just trying to make sure the facts are straight, Booner. That's it.
Yeah. And you guys know me very, very well. And us four here have done shows last summer in the past. And me and Lucas have gone at it. And the Believe Me Later, the old show we used to do about Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. And I've always been Justin Jefferson's the best best wide receiver in the NFL. I don't care if he was hurt this year. I do not care. He is one of the best to ever do it already at his position. Like he has, and you see these graphics, what he's done the first 3 or 4 seasons of his career is the best of anyone that has ever done it in the NFL. We're not talking about like, oh, he's been decent. Like he's been really, really good. The best ever in the NFL through the first 4 or 5 seasons, however long he started. The best ever. And this is the problem I've had too, because of this stuff right here. And then the other day there was the obviously, and we talked about it a little, but the Amon-Ra St or the JMO over CD Lamb, the CJ Gardner-Johnson stuff.
That was wild.
This is where I want to stick up for our guy Flannel Sam as well too, because the last 2 days that man has taken a lot of heat from a lot of the. And listen, I want you guys to know this. I am the leader of the Booner Path. I will tell you guys how it is straight up every single day, whether it's good or bad. I will let you know. All of you guys in the chat that went at Flannel Sam the last 2 days should all be ashamed of yourselves. And I'm just being dead serious. For you to go at Flannel Sam for him sticking up, saying that JMO's better than CeeDee Lamb, when we know CeeDee just had one of the best seasons in history of the NFL. And then to say, oh, CJ Gardner-Johnson isn't a top 10 player on the Lions team that helped them. What are we doing here?
Yeah,
I don't care how much you don't like or like Flannel. Flannel's right, the last 3 things that he said, and all of you in the chat, you guys should grow some, you know what, and man up and have your own take and stand up for what you believe in. Don't just be a troll behind people. Come on, what are we doing here?
Okay.
Yeah,
Love
yeah,
the energy, Boone.
Hey,
Love
well
the
said.
energy.
I hate seeing that because, like, what are we doing? I'm the leader of the Booner Path here, but we're logical on the Booner Path. When I said we're going to the NFC Championship game, I meant we're going to the NFC Championship game. I didn't just come out there and throw it out. Some of these people, CJ Gardner-Johnson was a top 10 reason to go to the NFC. Get out of here. What were they, 10-4 without him?
Yeah, and by the way,
on with that stupid stuff. Some of you guys should be sticking up for real takes instead of just backing random people because you don't know. You just want to back people to back people.
yeah,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm very mad about that.
Damn.
no, Booner,
I love Flannel, and me and Flannel have gone at it a lot. Like me and the JMO stuff earlier this year, me and him butt heads, and we had real beef when it came to it on the shows, going back and forth at each other. But what are we doing?
Hey, just like everybody misses sometimes. Like, right, the DMAC take from Flannel, all time bad. Like, it's just an awful.
I'm so
take.
mad.
Legendary,
When I saw this stuff the last
Legendary,
2
but it was
days,
just god awful. But I do, and I think for that, what you just brought up, the most important players, we'll have that discussion today as well. Like, we're going to go through not top 10, but top 5 players, the reasons why they've made it as far as they did. Just going through some comments here, people. Hey.
one more thing too. Mr. Detroit City said, Booner, what are your thoughts on him going at DMAC? I disagree with him wholeheartedly. But guess what? I'm a grown man and I have my takes. And when he says something stupid, I'll tell him it's stupid. I don't just follow other people and say everything he says is stupid, because you're just a follower at that point. Grow up and listen to his takes and pick what right or wrong. His DMAC take is wrong. His Ben Wallace take is wrong.
No,
Mike, let Mike cook.
Horrid take.
Yeah, let Mike cook, boys. I think that was.
I love you all. I had to come in a little heated.
Love you, Boone.
I was a little mad. Love you
Got
guys.
your drink again?
Celsius again today?
Celsius. You know what I think it was? I have a new flavor. This one's called the Galaxy Vibe. I think I might be allergic to the Arctic Vibe.
Yeah.
So I just
It's
no
not the
more
vibe.
no more Arctic. After I'm done with these Celsius, I bought it was like 6 for a certain amount of. I think I'm gonna move on from them.
So
I think it's over.
no allergic reaction.
Let's hope not. If you guys start seeing me
All right.
get red, you know what it is.
All right, there you go. I want to get to this. I want to get to this redraft because it is interesting, and I think it speaks. We have a draft coming up in a couple months here, and this is an interesting. I kind of teased at the beginning of the show, but ESPN came out with a redraft for the 2023 NFL draft, and I just want you guys to. We'll look at every pick, but we'll really just focus on where Lions players go because that's the most significant part of this whole thing. So let me put this on the screen here, then we'll break it down. And it's funny because even at the time in Brad Holmes, it's funny how this week it's Brad Holmes shredding media for not believing in some of the draft picks or having questions, which, people had some strong feelings about that. But then on the same week, you get this redraft. How fitting. So let me put this on the screen here. We'll break it down. Oh, Lucas. Look at that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. All right, number one.
Hey, it's fair. It's fair.
No, we all agree here, though. I don't think anyone would disagree. Number one would be CJ Stroud. It's not even in like a debate. I mean, would anybody disagree with that?
Jake Bobo.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake Bobo. But CJ Stroud goes to Carolina, of course, instead of Bryce Young. It's funny because Bryce Young fell on this pretty far. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, number 1, Panthers take CJ Stroud. Okay, that makes sense. Number 2, the Texans, they take Anthony Richardson.
Because CJ's gone.
Over Will Anderson. So yeah, CJ Stroud is gone. So they take Anthony Richardson. Will Anderson goes 3. The Colts take Puka Nacua.
Wow.
That's
kind of wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
He goes 4. The Seattle Seahawks stick with Devon Witherspoon. And the Lions at 6. They don't trade back. They take Jahmyr Gibbs.
Wow. That when I saw that, I was like, wow, they don't trade back and they just go Gibbs right away. That's crazy.
So
Not
Gibbs,
even Bijan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he deserves it. Jahmyr is RB1. He is. That's 6 pick. Wow, it's even higher than what it kind of speaks to the value they got. I mean, they traded back and still got their guy. Number 7, the Raiders took Paris Johnson over Tyree Wilson. Yeah, Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, wow. He was like a glaring. He reminded me of like Deion Jordan. Remember when the Dolphins took Deion Jordan 3rd overall, and then, you just got that random hype just right before the draft started, and you're like, why?
Yeah,
Tyree Wilson is like big for nothing. I mean, he beat my ass with his fucking thumb. Don't get me wrong, dude would beat the snot out of me. But as far as like NFL terms, he's big for nothing.
Eduardo had a good comment. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Can you imagine if we actually did take Gibbs at 6? Like the
world would be
reaction,
caught
we
on
were all
fire.
together. That place would have exploded. And didn't Brad actually say that he was prepared to take Gibbs no matter what?
He did.
He said if he couldn't trade back, that he was just going to go with Gibbs at 6.
Yeah, so like that. Oh my God, the reaction of the people would have been insane, and for it to pay off either way, like down the road, it would have paid off either way. It would have.
Yeah,
if the Lions don't trade back, they don't get Laporta, baby. That was the most valuable trade back in Lions history.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Reach.
9, the Bears. They stay put. Take Jalen Carter. The Eagles. They take Christian Gonzalez because of course
that would have been a good pick for them.
Yeah, and then of course the Tennessee Titans at 11. They take Bryce Young.
Bryce
dropped. Yeah, that's crazy.
He dropped from 1 to 11, that's
crazy.
I get it. I think people are running him off too quickly, but I get it. I mean, he had a terrible.
I agree.
That offense was horrific.
Carolina's a shit show. It's not all on him.
Texans take Jordan Addison. That's the 12th pick the Lions had, so they take Jordan Addison. The Packers. Look at this.
Oh my God!
Oh, speaking of another fucking bust from a mile away, Lucas Van. Can I just say?
Yeah.
You're telling me, and this is a guy who spells his name exactly like that. This is a disgrace to the way that you spell that name. This man was a rotational end at Iowa, and Brian Gutekunst thought he had the know-with-all, the wherewithal. He thought he was Brad Holmes and took this bum out of Iowa in front of Sam Laporta, in front of Brian Branch. Disgusting pick. One of the worst first-round picks I've seen in the last 5-10 years. Disgusting.
And
wild.
Could you imagine if Laporta actually went?
Don't say that. Come on, Jeff.
Like,
Let's not even throw that out there.
I'm just saying.
Let's not even think it.
No, it speaks to the like Brad Holmes, man. Like
so right now, a 6. If they're doing a redraft, Brad Holmes has drafted the 6th overall pick in the 13th. Within, you know what I mean? Like breaking it down.
Yeah, and they got him at
keep track of that. 6.
And they got him at 12 and at 34.
Yeah, let me write that in my notes.
12 and 34 now moved to 6 and 13. That's where they're drafted on the new mock. Yeah. So that's, holy hell. You see, these are fun to do when you have an actual GM with brain cells, isn't it? It's fun to do. 14, the Patriots take Zay Flowers. Jets.
Thankful for Zay that didn't happen.
Yeah, I was going to say some of these players that are going like where they didn't before. It's like at the end of the day, it's like they would have been in worse positions. Like the only reason they're playing well, we talked about this a couple of days ago. It's like when you get into a good position, you're going to have it's like every single Lions player that got drafted. The reason they were successful a lot of the times is that they came into a good culture and a good offense. Like that's a fact.
Zay's a dog, though. Zay's a dog.
Yeah, but who would have been his quarterback? Who would have been his quarterback?
Honestly, and I'm not saying he would have been as good, but he would have still put up numbers with New England because he only needs 5 yards to make a play.
That's fair. They didn't have a quarterback all year.
Well,
I get it, but he would have still ate. I
this
think.
time it's Steven David, no Bijan yet as wild. He went still the same pick he went, I think,
he was
right?
eight.
He went. I think he went to the Falcons still.
With Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, we'll just kind of get through these. Like Broderick Jones of the Jets. Who gives a damn? Commanders. R.I.P. Emmanuel
R.I.P.
Ford.
to your
Yeah,
guy.
speak on this one, Jeff.
R.I.P. to your guy.
Yeah, Darnell Wright is the new pick for the Commanders, which they do need offensive line help. I mean, they're awful. So yeah, Forbes, hey, that's my guy. I still got faith in him. I ain't cutting loose yet. Steelers, they take Brian Branch at 17.
17. That's
So
three
that is-
guys in the first round.
Yep.
That
Well,
Branch
3 guys in even the top 17. That's crazy.
And two of those guys
crazy.
were second round picks.
Yes. Yep.
Brian Branch and Sam Laporta, both second round picks.
I thought this would be a play, at least an area, like a general area where Brian Branch would go anyway. I thought he'd go top 20, to be honest with you.
I thought he was a lock for the Buccaneers, to be honest, especially because Antoine Winfield's like with he's got the contract lingering up in their secondary. They have corners leaving. When he slid past Tampa, I was in awe. Awe.
Yeah, and I don't know what the hell. I mean, hey, it's 40 time.
Crazy.
I mean, whatever it is, they were off just like they are every year. Probably Mel Kiper feeding some nonsense out there. Probably, if I had to say, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that guy.
The norm.
But that is 3 Lions players in the top 17, and then of course it leaves the Lions at 18 to take Joey Porter over Jack Campbell.
I don't hate it.
No,
Don't hate it. Don't love it.
Where are you guys at with that?
Can I say something about the Joey Porter thing real quick though?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Gentry. Did you
No,
guys see all of these all rookie teams and everything that Joey
Yeah.
Porter got in over Brian Branch? Brian Branch like doubled every single one of every statistic that Joey Porter had. Joey Porter missed games, and Brian Branch is dominated. And Brian Branch didn't get in, and Joey Porter did in a lot of these rookie rankings in these awards. Like that was disrespect, in my opinion. Very, very disrespectful. I don't hate it because obviously we would have needed a corner this year, so you'd have had him with Cam Sutton. But Joey Porter, I'm kind of salty about how all of that worked out this year.
And I'm with you. I think Joey Porter was one of those guys that he had a really good rookie year, and it's kind of hard to tell off the statistics just because the other corner, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I'm trying to think, was it? No, Patrick Peterson's not there anymore. I don't know who the other corner was off the top of my head. But burnt toast, completely burnt toast. When Minkah Fitzpatrick was out, Joey Porter really stepped out.
I think it was
but
Patrick Peterson.
I mean, was it? I
Because
feel
he
like
played for the
it's weird, but
Vikings
it might
last
be.
year.
Was he
played
with
for
Minnesota
right.
last year?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, he was with Pittsburgh this year.
Yep.
And yeah, there's the
You're
back
right.
end there completely torched. And he stepped in halfway through the season and stepped up. But I'm with you, Booner, to have him over Brian Branch was egregious.
Disrespectful. It was disrespectful in my opinion.
Blasphemy, as Stephen A. Smith would say.
I do agree with that. Having him over Brian Branch is a little crazy, but Joey Porter was one of the people who was originally fine with the Lions picking as if they were going to address the corner, and obviously they kind of moved towards that in free agency and kind of left it out in the draft. But I wouldn't have hated by any means. I think Joey Porter showed a lot this year, and he's going to be good for the Steelers for years to come. For sure.
Yeah, and the tough thing about this, guys, is like this is obviously all hindsight. Like you didn't know that the linebacker core would be this good for the Lions with Jack Campbell, and you also didn't know they'd be this bad at corner. Like so, when you're going to the draft, you're like Emmanuel Mosley, Cam Sutton, too solid. Like you thought Jack, was the now going back, you're like, well, they need a corner. I'm gonna be honest. I think long term, Jack could be the better player. And I know maybe that is a little bit of a reach, but I do believe that.
I don't.
I love Joey. I like Joey Porter.
Later in the show,
yeah,
I have something on Jack Campbell. I think Jack could be like, and a lot of people I saw people in like saying that maybe like I would rather have a Joey Porter over Jack Campbell, this or that. Jack Campbell to me is more of a couple years, and you're going to see kind of what he can do in his ceiling and him kind of his development within this defense. I think he's going to shock a lot of people. I have something on him later in this show. I think we'll.
Yeah, and to your point, Booner, like Brad even said, like we're looking at these drafts. He brought up the 2021 draft. He's like, that was 2 years ago. That's when you really look at a draft. You don't grade it after the day after. You don't grade it the season after. You grade it 2 years down the road. So to your point, especially like Kelvin Shepard, when they were having those interviews during the combine, he looked over at Brad. He looked over at Dan. He was like, that's the guy we want. And they know it's because he has all the tools, all the intangibles, which Brad and Dan harp on more than anything is intangibles and being coachable. That's exactly what Jack is. So they're going to mold him into what a Detroit Lions middle linebacker should be, and he's going to be a stud. The question I do have, though, guy that's not on here that, Jeff, you'll be very familiar with because of Adam, what about Kalijah Kancey here instead of Joey Porter?
I would honestly, to be real with you,
or even Jack Campbell, like
yeah,
Campbell. Or
if you're talking Kalijah, Joey, or Jack, like to me, it's kind of like I know it's close. Like if you say Cansey, I don't hate it. Like if you say Joey, I don't hate it. I might lean Jack just because I have faith in his development. I think over time he's going to be really, really good. But you can make that case for Joey Porter, and like they're all going to be good players. I think all three of those guys.
Yeah.
I just think they need a future linebacker.
And think about this too,
like
Jack,
a captain.
Yeah, and Jack, like he came into a linebacker room with Derek Barnes, Rodrigo, and Alex Anzalone, who like Rodrigo was a starter all year last year. He came in and took his spot like as a rookie. Like he just came in and just took his spot like that. So like, yes, he wasn't like the top tier linebacker because a lot of your rookies, just like Jahmyr Gibbs is an all pro or a pro bowler. Sam Laporta was all pro bowler. Like he wasn't on that level, but he can get to that level. Like year one, he literally came in and took a starting spot like that, like within a couple weeks of the season starting. So it's going to take him a little time, but he's going to end up being an all. I think I'm going to save it for later, actually.
And you go to the next pick.
I was going off.
No, because Booner, I could tell you're excited for that Jack Campbell one. We'll talk about it more later.
I predicted that, didn't I, Jeff?
Predicted what?
Booner and Jack Campbell.
Yeah, you called it. Mike did call it pre-show. He did. 19, Kalijah Cansey. There you go.
Bad.
They don't change their pick.
I like it.
That's fair.
Which
I like it.
Yeah, I think that works there. Kobe Turner goes to the Seahawks instead of JSN.
Ooh.
Yeah, Kobe Turner's been really good.
He was good. Yeah. It's just I would be interested. I think JSN has potential to be one. Kobe Turner, really good rookie season, but it'd be, to Booner's point earlier, it's a lot where you land. If you land right next to Aaron Donald, you're gonna have a lot of one-on-ones.
That's why these redrafts get me a little bit, because you could say guys should go here, but it's just like, dude, wherever you land, like you have to be in those situations to know like whether like a lot of these guys you could do a redraft, and if you did put them on a different team, they're not as good as they were. Like a Dalton Kincaid, he wouldn't have maybe been as good as he was in Buffalo because Herbert gets hurt. Like there's just different scenarios.
Yeah,
and then here,
Tyler Lockett, I'm pretty sure is a free agent at the end of the year, so I doubt that Seattle would switch up from drafting a wide receiver when they're kind of grooming him to take Tyler Lockett's spot. So I doubt they would have switched up.
The Chargers take Dalton Kincaid, like you kind of alluded to, Boone. They instead of Quentin Johnston, which I'm on board with that. I mean,
I would switch.
Yeah.
Did you see what he said, by the way?
What'd he say?
He just thinks he's going to have a breakout year this year with Jim Harbaugh.
I wouldn't honestly with Harbaugh, and it's just with.
Do you remember how good he was at
TCU? Rookie year he had.
Sadly, we do.
He has the tools. He just probably needs to wake up. Hopefully, I would honestly not be surprised.
Yeah.
Just this year, he was terrible.
He was good at TCU. Like he is a dog at the end of the day.
I think we'll see, because at TCU it felt like he was all the physical tools, like he was just bigger, faster than everybody. And then you get to the NFL and it's like, hey, buddy, everyone around you is just as fast and just as big. So like now he's asked to kind of figure it out. But who knows? Like he's got the potential. Ravens take Devon A-Chain. A-Chan.
He'd get hurt for them in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's a curse.
There's not a chance.
It's a curse. The Vikings then take JSN instead of Jordan Addison because he's of course gone already. The Jags take Anton Harrison, offensive tackle at Oklahoma, over the corner Deonte Banks. This is the Giants that traded up for this. They took Deonte Banks. Then the Giants take Deonte Banks at 25, so they end up getting him anyway. The Dallas Cowboys, they take Jack Campbell over Mozzie Smith.
Hey, that'd be good for them with Leighton Vander Esch. That's almost who Jack kind of reminds me of. Leighton Vander Esch, Paul Posluszny. He kind of reminds me of one of those guys. Yeah, I know it's just typical white linebacker, but Dallas is definitely need a linebacker in the next year or two, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
27, the Bills, they take Osiris Torrance out of Florida. Because that was Jacksonville's pick. Yeah, because they traded up. So there you go. Bengals take DeJuan Jones, offensive tackle, over Miles Murphy. I didn't really hear a lot of Miles Murphy this year.
Not at all.
To be honest with you.
No.
And I liked him coming up, to be honest with you. The Saints, that was, they take Peter Skoronski over. They had Brian Bresee, which they ended up getting, which he's actually a pretty good player.
He played good this year, dude. Every time I watched the Saints, I felt like I heard his name.
And then the Eagles, they took Nolan Smith. They take Tuli. How do you say that last name?
Oh, okay. This is the guy from the Chargers. Remember when I tried to say
Tuli? we'll just say
Tuipulotu.
Tuipulotu, I think.
Tuipulotu.
Tuipulotu. There you go. Tuipulotu. There you go. Thank you.
Tuipulotu.
And he had a pretty big year this year. I mean, he had a pretty good rookie
Tuipulotu.
year, so he's going to be a good player. The Kansas City Chiefs, they take Rashee Rice in the first round, and that makes sense. And then the Steelers close it out. Instead of Joey Porter, they take Keanu Benton, which they ended up taking, honestly, later in the draft anyway. Yeah. So there you go. But the more so the point of this, guys, was to go through and just look at the Lions players because, again, like you had 4 guys all be first-round picks, right? 4 players that were first-round picks. Lions walk, and it speaks to really Brad Holmes. And we do this every year. I've seen redraft since Brad's been here. It seems like there's always got like Amon-Ra St. Brown. You go back, you would go in the first round. I mean, it happens every single year. You got to get used to it.
I mean, dude, you had 2 picks in the first round this year. Your top 4 picks in a redraft are all first round picks. In top 20, 3 of them are top 17, and another one goes at 26. Like that's elite to me. Like that is very, very elite, especially with what he had to work with. You know what I was thinking too on my drive over here, like I was thinking about this whole redraft thing. When we went into last year, I know you guys remember, like going into last year's draft, we all were like, trust in Brad. But every single Detroit Lions fan after day one was a little like, hey, we'd kind of like the picks, but like the value and everything, like what did he kind of do? I think this year, even if we don't like a pick or we're like questioning it, I think we're trusting in Brad no matter what. If he goes out there and takes a quarterback in the first round, which he's not going to, but you see what I'm saying? Like if he went out and took anyone, I would be like, I trust whatever he is doing. I am all in on that. So that's where, like, I remember last year, like, yes, we all were trust Brad, but we still had that little like question mark on the side. Yeah. This year, it's like, even if he does something crazy or trades back or trades up to top to whatever he does, it's, hey, go to work, bro. You're 3 for 3 in drafts. Do what you got to do, Brad. Like, I do not care at this point.
I feel like it's almost ignorant to kind of go against what he thinks at this point until proven otherwise. It's like you never bet against Brady, you never bet against Mahomes, you don't bet against Holmes in the draft. Like, you know what I mean? You just don't do that.
Yeah, it's like questioning one of the best chefs in the game about their cooking. You just wait to taste it, and you're like, do I like? You know, like you just got to wait to try the meal. I mean, because and we know we work in an industry where opinions are thrown around. This is our job, right? And I know after the draft, a lot of emotions are there because you spend months, and Brad talked about this, where you spend months. We did as well. You spend months talking about the draft, mock drafts, where guys are going to go. And then the draft always plays out completely different. That's how it always is. It's never what the media thinks is going to happen. It's what, of course, these NFL GMs think what they think is going to happen. And I think one of the biggest ones was the Jack Campbell and Jameer. Like and I did mock drafts with Adam every time we did them. And I know it's PFF, but not just PFF, just looking at other guys, Mel Kiper and these guys that do it for a living. It was always Jameer late in the first round, Jack Campbell late in the first round. And it's ingrained in our head that when we watch the draft, we're like, whoa, Jameer at 12? Not on these mock drafts.
Do you know what it is?
That has to stop. You know.
Do you know what it is though? There's a lot of casual fans, and it's nothing like. And then sometimes we kind of fall into that too, to where you just you look at best player available, and when you do mock drafts, it's just next best player available, and that's just like I said the last week. Like Brad throws that out of the door. Like he is like, we're not doing best player available. He proved when he said the other day that he had Sam Laporta at the top of his overall draft board, not even just tight ends, but overall, like probably top 10 or whatever it was. That's when you know, like, he's not messing around when it comes to that. He's not going to go. He'll pass up on 10 players that are best player available to go get his guy, and a guy that's supposed to go in the second, he'll take him in the top 20, and he just doesn't care. And that's where it's like you have to get that across your head. And it's hard being like in Detroit and being in the media trying to do mock drafts and stuff because you just don't know who's on Brad Holmes' board. Like you have no clue.
No, I agree. And I think a lot of it like was overreacting. Obviously, like the positional value of drafting a running back so early and then a linebacker, people were panicking, but it was more of being unfamiliar with the situation and like having a GM that you can trust, and all the way through it, you don't have to question every single decision he makes. Obviously, as Lions fans, we've gone through so many stretches of bad drafts after bad drafts after bad drafts. So we've never really been able to take a step back and just let him do his job. So I think that was a lot of it. And just obviously the running back, no one did mock drafts and was drafting an RB with their top 10 pick or drafting a linebacker in the top 20. But at the end of the day, this Brad Holmes is smarter than all of us, and Lions fans in general just need to sit back, relax, and let him do his thing, because he's been 3 for 3 on all drafts, and he hasn't disappointed thus far. So, like, who are we to give an input on that? Obviously, we can say who we want, but we shouldn't never overreact to what he does.
And Jeff, we talk about positional value all the time. I think last year going running back at 12, he with Gibbs, he showed he doesn't even care about positional value. Like he just everything literally for Brad Holmes is out the window, like gone. Like it's, hey, I have my board of guys I want this year. I'm probably only going to pick 10 guys. I'm going to go get 6 of those 10 guys. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, and I don't. And again, me and Brad, at least, and it's not me. Obviously, I'm not Brad Holmes, but how I look at other GMs in some organizations, I think it was just ingrained in my head. And it still is. I still believe it, that there's positional value.
Yeah.
But for a guy like Brad Holmes, it doesn't matter, Booner, because to your point, he just takes the best players. Like he doesn't give a damn about positional value. He thought Jahmyr Gibbs was the best player at that spot, and he said he'd take him at 6. He's a damn good player. Like, yeah. I mean, it worked out. Now, for me, I don't want to get into that now because I have a whole thing on positional value. I'll just say this. You have to trust Brad. And to Mike's point, it's already drilled in our heads from past drafts where we're already questioning the pick immediately after it's called in. Like, that's just how it goes. And Brad Holmes has helped change Lions fans, their thought process. Now we're excited for the draft.
Yeah, I'm almost like I'm excited, but in like a different way where it's like I'm curious. I'm not even excited like, oh, who's the talent? I'm seeing like, how am I going to be surprised this way? Why is my conventional thinking and kind of the narrative thinking that I'm sure a lot of people would share? How is Brad going to break the mold on it again and just surprise everyone in the NFL and show you, yeah, you guys can do it this way. But over here, this is why the Detroit Lions are good. This is why we're doing it differently than you guys. And this is why it's going to be a longevity built team, and that's why it's going to consistently win. So it's interesting to see the way these draft. I think it's very unconventional, and he's one of one as far as his draft approach. There's no doubt that no one in the league thinks like Brad Holmes does when it comes to the NFL draft.
I can't wait to see who he does draft, because like Lucas, like we talk about all the time how me and you like were doing socials last year during it, and like that Gibbs pick, it's a guy that you knew about in the late first round, but like after we picked him, we went to go post highlights and we looked at each other. We're like, dude, this guy is a dog. Like he is a dog, and I get it, it's 12th overall, but like Brad's gonna go get a dog, whether it's offensive line, DN, whatever it is. Like he's always going to go out there and get a dog. And that's where I'm excited to see kind of what he does. I can't wait, actually. It's going to be a shock, but I cannot wait.
Speaking of Jahmyr Gibbs, you see Breece Hall's top 5 running backs?
Yeah.
You see
I respect it. I respect it. Bijan too.
No, he's definitely lying. Like,
no,
you see, you're saying he's not lying about 4 and 5, but I mean 1 to 3. Are we going to excuse that or what?
I said it a month ago. I said when Gibbs went on that 8-week stretch of just going absolutely nuts every week, he was getting 100 all-purpose yards. Right away, he's a top 5 running back in the NFL. There is no question about it right now. I obviously him number 1. That's biased, and Bijan above Gibbs is insane. I had the argument with you guys this year, and you guys had to kind of take a step back at like a week later, because it was like, no, Gibbs is better than Bijan Robinson. Like maybe the potential for Bijan, but Gibbs right now he is a better running back. If I had to do it just like that redraft, I'm taking Gibbs 10 times out of 10 times over Bijan Robinson again. But CMC, obviously Derrick Henry and David Montgomery on that list is shout out to him.
I know exactly what this is, because coming out of the draft, both of these guys, Breece Hall and David Montgomery, both the Iowa State running backs. And I said coming out of the draft that Breece Hall is exactly like David Montgomery, just better a little bit at everything. So he's paying homage to David Montgomery there. But the fact that he's even willing to put him there, I think just shows how much improved that David Montgomery is and how much spotlight he's brought onto himself. Now that the fact, I understand he's behind the best O-line in Detroit, but he was coming from being behind the worst O-line in Chicago. So seeing what this guy is actually capable of, I'm so happy, because David Montgomery is one of those running backs that just went to work, and he never made a fuss about anything. So he's getting paid off in big ways.
Hey, if you guys thought in the chat when I went out to you guys earlier about Flannel, if you guys thought that I don't go at Flannel, guess what? Flannel was dead wrong about David Montgomery and Jamal Williams. That was one of the worst takes of all time as well, saying that David Montgomery was just as good as Jamal Williams was just as good as David Montgomery. Not even close. Not even close.
Jeff's head, we're about to explode.
Breece Hall, doing that. I respect it for making this list at all, and obviously it's his list. You got to put himself number 1, but he had like 5 games that he had over 50 yards rushing. And don't get me wrong, I know what he does receiving the ball, but like, bro's not even top 5.
Dude, if he gets an offensive line in front of him, he would without a doubt, he will be
Well,
top 5.
It
that's
doesn't.
why, like,
When you're still getting 12 to 15 carries a game, and then you're getting 50 yards 5 out of the 18 games, 17 games.
Well,
No.
He's got
here's
Matt
he
Nelson
could be
blocking
respectfully
for him,
at
bro.
5, and everyone else could be bumped up and put Bijan with CMC. But
Tyler Conklin's the best lineman they have, and he's a tight end.
I mean, TC's a stud. Come on now.
Hey, that's no disrespect to Tyler
Hey, to be
Conklin.
fair,
That's disrespect to the
TC
offensive
at
line.
To be fair,
Brees
if you
Hall
put
the
No,
Brees
their
Hall,
offensive line is shit, but like,
you
come
put
on
Brees
now,
Hall
take a
behind
step
the
back. You're
Lions-
not above CMC. You're not above Bijan.
No.
You're not above Gibbs. You're not above Montgomery. You're not above Henry.
I'm sure he knows that, but he that was definitely like a hey, I'm boost
I'm with
myself
you,
up.
Booner. You put him behind the Lions O-line.
Oh,
good
dude,
luck.
he is a
Good.
dog.
yeah,
dude.
but this is we could do that with like other guys. I mean,
Ever.
you
That's
could do
why
that.
that's the
Put
argument
Booner
with
behind
Bijan.
the Lions offensive
Yeah.
line.
I'll
Yeah.
get 20 yards a game. But that's the argument that we had with the Bijan and Gibbs. And you guys kept telling me, oh, well, Gibbs is in a better position. It's like, dude, I don't care. Gibbs is still in a position to do it, and he's
Right.
doing it. That I'm going to put him above Bijan. I don't care
Yeah.
what position you're in. I don't
Yep.
care. You're putting the numbers up. He isn't. I'm putting you over him. Like, request a trade and go to a better position if you want to be ranked above other
But
people.
that's
how I
the
feel
rea-
about it.
But Booner, you're right. That's the reality of the NFL, right? Like we talk about
Everyone's
this all
in
the
bad
time, guys.
spots.
Yeah, like situation matters. It's not just for quarterbacks; it's for all players. So I like Brees Hall. I do, and I think the Jets. Anyone who plays the Jets, you know what they want to do: stop the run. Because what is Zach
Anybody
Wilson
else-
going to do?
The other thing that I kind of had a huge problem with is how are you going to put anybody behind CMC besides
Yeah,
yourself?
Well,
CMC is number one.
Thank
If
you.
you're going to
That
put
is
yourself,
crazy.
he's number 2.
hands down.
I think
Yeah.
he might have tweeted after it too and said, I know CMC's the best in the league. Yeah, I think he tweeted out and was like, CMC is just on a different level, and we all know that. I'm pretty
So
sure
let me
I saw
ask you-
that tweet.
Let me ask you guys this to tie to the Lions. Jameer Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, I think they're the unquestioned best backfield in the NFL. 1-2 punch, without a doubt. Even the situation, of course, but with those guys, undoubtedly best backfield combo. Are they both top 5 running backs?
No. Jameer is. I think David's top 10, not top 5.
Exactly. Perfectly said.
So we'd go. Let's do a crunch time. Why don't we do a crunch time top 5? We'll kind of we'll say number 1. We all agree it's Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who would you put at 2?
Are we saying just like off of this
wanna
year?
pull this
Just
up.
who
I
do
don't
we
wanna
think?
do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Because like
I-
number 2, I want to say Saquon, but it's hard to say Saquon just because he hasn't been productive compared to the other running backs that you could say. So if we're going off number 2 this year, it's Kyron Williams, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's actually
this year. We'll say this year.
fair.
It's fair.
Okay,
So
so yeah.
Saquon. You have Nick Chubb who blew his knee out. Like I mean,
Yeah, like he'd be in there, but yeah, we'll leave. So we'll go Kyron 2, in my opinion.
So we'll go CMC, Kyron, and then there's 3 now, and I think now we're getting into like a, you're
I think in the top 5 you have to put Derrick Henry this year, and you guys know how I feel about
Fair.
that. He was second in the league in rushing yards and had 12 touchdowns. He wasn't on a great team, yeah, but this is the argument I always have about Derrick Henry is he puts numbers up, and he's if he wasn't on the Titans this year and he was putting those numbers up on a different team, everyone would be looking at him way different.
no, you're right.
And
You're
like
right.
he was in a bad situation and still put the numbers up. It wasn't like he was in a bad situation and didn't put numbers up. He was in a bad situation and still was second in the league in rushing yards and second in the league in rushing touchdowns. Like that's
What
pretty
about
crazy.
What about this
Yeah.
one, Vince Cinnamon?
Nah,
shout
Outta
get that
here.
out of
Fuck
here.
out of
No,
here.
no.
Out of here. Oh, fuck out of here.
yeah,
Out of shot.
I would say Derrick Henry's there. That's 3 though. We still have 2 more, and I think
That is Gibbs Bijan, in my opinion.
really.
Bijan, wow.
I mean,
I'm looking at the list here. I want
he's
to
a 1,000-yard back,
Mm-hmm.
and he was not to mention it was by committee. He still missed a game. You think about the other running backs that you could put there. AFC, what you could have Pacheco, you could have
I mean, you
Josh
could go-
Jacobs, you
I
could
don't wanna do
have Eckler. I'm
Eckler
going
played
division
like
by
ass.
division. NFC
Yeah.
South, you could have.
I mean,
Kamara,
if we're going
have
Bijan,
argument for.
dude, I think this year
You got
someone-
Mostert's in there.
I was going to
too.
say someone who had more yards and 18 touchdowns was Raheem Mostert. And,
I think
and I would
Raheem's
put
in
him
there.
over Bijan this season.
That's
Just
fair.
because more yards and 18 touchdowns. And I know that's kind of the Jamal Williams where he was kind of getting touchdowns in the red zone, but he still was a dog, dude.
Yeah, I think you got to put
He was
Mostert in there. I
good
would
season.
even say Mostert 4, Gibbs 5. To be honest,
I like
being-
that. I would
Yeah,
only-
you know what, guys? Like this year, I actually agree. Like I do. I think Jameer, he has, where is he? I'm just looking at the numbers here. He's 17th in the NFL in rushing yards. And you look at yards per carry, the only person for the 16 ahead of him that's higher in yards per carry is Christian McCaffrey. So, I mean, I don't know how he almost had 1,000 with limited touches early on in the season. This
was really a weird year for running backs, though. I feel like
injuries.
Every other week there was a new running back banged up or someone was missing some sort of time.
And Jameer missed a game. He missed a game or two, didn't he?
2 or 3. He might have almost missed 3. And I want to throw this out there too. D-Mont missed 4 games. You said 4 games?
Yeah.
You almost could put D-Mont at like 6 and 7 because D-Mont had over 1,200 all-purpose yards and 13 touchdowns. Like that right there alone, like that's crazy. And he had 1,200 all-purpose and 13 touchdowns. And what was it? 13 games, 12 games. Like, dude, that is 12 games, and you put those numbers up. That's impressive itself as well. If he didn't get hurt, he breaks Jamal's record.
And then you have a guy like and then there's other honorable mentions in there too. I mean, I just was checking the numbers. I mean, I told you, Josh Jacobs didn't even play the whole season. He got 800 plus yards. Like he played 13 games. He had 4 games left. But yeah, I think Jameer's definitely a top 5 back. You look at potential, like what he did, yards per carry,
top 1.
He was up there. What was he, second in the NFL in 20 plus yard gains? Like that's got to account for something.
Number one.
Big game Gibbs. I'm getting it trademarked. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, big old copyright.
They shot that down to the heavyweight.
Baby.
Not to you easy. They didn't like it, so I'm taking it. All right, Big Game Gibbs. That's what we're calling it.
Could you put Sue Yu's chat up there?
Yep, I got you.
I'm coming for it. I'm going for it, boys.
You gotta have the middle. You gotta have the middle down the face mask.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I can log snap. That's a known fact.
Well,
we kind of make a tackle 1-on-1 on a returner.
Dude, come on.
Boone on special teams would be deadly. I think you full speed though on special teams.
Dude, I'd get down the field quick.
Okay, all right. I was just checking.
Blowing an ACL.
Who's a punt return in the NFL?
Devontae Turpin for the Dallas Cowboys.
Keyshawn Nixon.
Yeah.
Oh, bang.
What do you guys think of this?
No, shout out
right
Keyshawn
here.
Nixon. He's a dog.
Travis Kelce was asked at the Super Bowl media day, asking about his favorite tight ends, and he brought up George Kittle, of course, it's his opponent in the Super Bowl, but he mentioned a rookie, Sam Laporta.
Dog. That ain't no rookie, Jeff.
Rookie, Sam Laporta. Yeah, he's
the
playing like a
best in the league.
That ain't no rookie.
The best in the league.
The demon. It's a dog.
Hold on. Best in the league.
Best in the league. Dude, we had the conversation last week that there were like the Long brothers, Chris Long and Kyle Long. They went on their podcast and said, people are going to get mad at this, and these, dude, I'm telling you, these are NFL players and vets who have seen a lot of football. And they went on their podcast and said, this year, Sam Laporta was the best tight end in the NFL. And they said people might be mad at it, but it's just a known fact. And I think Kittle and I think Kelce, they know it. The fact that Jeff, the fact that Travis Kelce is coming out and said it, he could have just said, "Oh, George Kittle's mine." He threw Sam Laporta in there. That's not for a reason. That's like because now he's in that conversation where you could say
he's in the combo, but he ain't there. He's not there yet. He's not.
Yeah,
there
this is
yet.
back a couple years.
This is not. This is not me saying it. I'm saying Chris.
I'm saying Gannon Sharp, the NFL, one of the goats in the tight end position.
You guys are.
He goes George Kittle too. You can. It's a taste, but at the end of the day, George Kittle did not drop off. George Kittle did not drop off.
Can you let me make my statement before you just go ahead and say, Booner, why are you saying he's the best? I didn't say he's the best.
You
Kyle
just
Long,
did. You just did.
You open your ears up. Stop drinking and open your ears up. I said, Chris,
the
are you going to let me talk?
Are you going to let me talk? Conversation was Jeff said he's the best, and you said yes. Chris Long, the long. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. You just proved my point. I said Chris Long and Kyle Long went on their podcast and said he's the best in the NFL. 2 dudes who have been around the NFL. I think, in my opinion, maybe not the number one, but he's in that category. He's in that stage now to where you could say George Kittle, Sam Laporta, and Travis Kelce, and then there's TJ Hockenson and everyone else. That's where I'm at with it. Now, don't say that it's my statement when I say it's
okay. Do you agree with it or not?
I agree. He's in that tier now. He's in tier 1.
So you don't agree with the Long brothers that he's
not
the best?
Travis Kelce and George Kittle are still Travis Kelce and George Kittle.
All right. We're good. He was
that category, and that is official. But come on, hey, when I make a statement from a podcast, don't do that.
Laporta. If you're putting Jake Ferguson, hopefully this is not what he's saying, but if you're putting Jake Ferguson in front of Sam Laporta, I'm telling you, the guy from Toledo is telling you, Adam Baydoun, to lay off the meth. Stop it. That is just disgusting.
Hey, Ferg's a dog, though. Ferg is a dog.
But yeah, he's a dog.
And Adam, I did not say he was
Laporta by any means. No way. No. But he's still a really good tight end.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, even this comment. Compare the rookie numbers, excuse me.
Compare their numbers this
rookie
year.
comment.
Compare the
Jeez.
Okay. When you say compare their numbers, the rookie numbers, that's fair. Like Laporta's having one of the best starts for a tight end. Absolutely. Like he's on a crazy trajectory. But right now, as a rookie, like we gotta, not you, Booner, but anybody that believes he's the best this year, like, all right, put the Kool-Aid down.
Adam saying he's 5 or 6 is just absolutely insane.
Adam,
he is not 5 or 6. He literally was second team All Pro. He was second team All Pro for a reason. I
actually don't agree with that either. I mean, he was second team All Pro.
And ETN, I did say when I'm quoting a podcast and saying yes. Like, what are we doing here? Come on.
Booner, I will say
you have to let me finish my statement on that one.
Booner, because Jeff was like, so you're saying he's number 1, and this is what you said. And
I said, yes, the podcast of Chris Longberg.
So exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
okay. That's on me. When I said yes, I meant the podcast.
We're on
we
the
had
same
this conversation
page
last week as well. When I said yes, the podcast, the Chris
So,
Long brothers.
well, hold on. Let me address this, guys. I got this one because we all agree. Let me address this one. Adam says Purdy's better than Hurts, Allen, Herbert. This is where the eye test comes into play. You can say the eye test, Purdy's not better than Hurts, Allen, Herbert. The eye test with Laporta, absolutely. He's better than he's top 3.
Laporta makes an impact on the run game. He was pinning Kenny Clark week 4. The 4th game as a rookie, former Pro Bowl defensive tackle who's 6'3", 300+ pounds. Laporta was taking care of him in the run game one-on-one. Then when Jared Goff needed to go down the field in fourth quarters and they need a play, they go to Sam Laporta or Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's not just a statistical thing. Honestly, he looks way better than what his statistics show. If he was in Dallas, where he was the clear-cut number 2 option outside of CeeDee Lamb, and you had Sam Laporta in Dallas, he's easily above 1,000 yards. He probably has more touchdowns. That's
hold on. Let me clarify what he said.
Okay. That's what I was going to do.
So Adam used that argument to back up kind of like the 1 year thing, right? Like 1 year doesn't make a player. Like I get that. And, he's saying using your logic, right? And I'll put up this other comment, Puka's top 3. Like, I know he's a rookie. Like, yeah, he's one of the best. I don't know about immediately top 3 because there's the wide. You got to look at the depth at wide receiver in the NFL, like the depth at tight end, especially for a guy like Sam Laporta. He's better than Evan Ingram. He's better than Evan Ingram. I mean, he just is. So part of it is the eye test, and that's why I would say for Brock Purdy, like he had a great year, but no, he's not better. He's not better than the other players.
And I do agree in a sense what Adam's saying. He doesn't just get to leapfrog everyone, but he did leapfrog himself into that top 5 conversation, like without a doubt. You can mix and match a couple people up there, and I do understand Laporta has to get some years under him and then like keep that consistency up. But he proved he is one of the top 5 tight ends in the league, and I would say top 3. But like I know what he's saying in a sense.
And that comment, he was hurt.
He shouldn't even have been playing in the playoffs.
Yeah, like what are we doing?
The Lions were lucky that they had him.
And listen, this is the thing too. We could all have our takes all we want. None of us played in the NFL, and that's why I go back to the Chris Long podcast. That's why I go back to Travis Kelce. If you go watch podcast George Kittle, like these guys coming out saying Laporta is one of the best in the NFL now. He's the fact you could say, oh, well, maybe he can't leapfrog him just for 1 year. When you have guys that have played in the NFL as long as they did, and guys like Travis Kelce that are basically saying he's leapfrogged his way into that elite category already, that's where you have to take a step back. And our opinions at the end of the day just don't matter when it comes to that, because you have guys who are playing against him and guys that play the same position who are saying that he is leapfrogged into that level. So at the end of the day, like we could go off all we want and say Evan Ingram and all these, oh, he's 5 or 6. But at the end of the day, the people he plays with put him in that category. That's all he needs, right? Like that's all it is.
And I want to make sure we get this clear, just to kind of like to answer this one. And I got you, Booner. So
I'm
Booner,
gonna say
he said-
ETN. Now maybe I might have to cook him.
no, we love ETN, but we're already past that. He already said he didn't mean it. We're talking top 3: Kelsey, Kittle, and I think Laporta. You can make an argument. You probably lose that argument, but I'm going to say Laporta at 3. If you want to put Evan Ingram, whoever the hell you want to put up there, cool. I think Mark Andrews healthy. Maybe you have a case for Mark Andrews. But Laporta's in that conversation for top 3, no question.
Can you put Adam's comment up there?
Hawkinson, if he was healthy, he's in that conversation. But I think this year it's Sam Laporta.
Can you put Adam's comment up there?
I got you. Give me 1 second.
He said, nah, Booner, you don't need to play in the NFL to have you don't need to. You can have a qualified opinion, but when your peers, and not just your peers, the best players at that position are putting you in that, putting you in that category, that's what it is. Like that, it's just like, okay, end of story. Like we obviously you don't have to be playing the NFL to be qualified. Like I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't that case. But like, come on.
Yeah, and DCP, he had more than twice the tuds as Ingram and less targets. Like, yeah, like DCP, you nailed. Like and you can. I'm saying you can make the case he's top 3. Like I'm just, especially this year, Hawkinson got hurt, Andrews got hurt. Like if we're going like we just went with running backs, right? Kyron's number 2 because of this year. This year, emphasis on this year, he's top 3. He's top 3 now. Any given year with a healthy Mark Andrews, a healthy Hawkinson, maybe he's top 5 undoubtedly every year. He's going to be a top 5, maybe even higher than that every single year. So yeah, that's where he is. I think we can all agree there. He's one of the best tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
There you go. So we agree there. I want to move on here because we spent enough time on that, and I'll let people argue in the chat. If you disagree, agree, it is what it is. We appreciate
fun conversation.
I want to ask this question because I do have a good one, a good answer for this. Breakout player for the Lions this upcoming season. Okay. Breakout player. I'll go first. I'm going to say my breakout player, and then we'll go around. You guys feel free to take it away, okay? So for me, breakout player this season, maybe this is an obvious one. Ife Melifonwu.
Oh.
That's a breakout player. And I really that's a guy who's in for a big season. That's what I mean. He had a good year, but a limited. I'm talking full season, being out there for double the snaps. Huge season incoming. I'll tell you why. He played 399 snaps on defense. 399. You know who had 100 less than him snaps? Charles Harris. You know who had just as much snaps as him? Josh Pascal. He was tied in 3rd in deflections. He had 8. Tied for 3rd in sacks. He had 3. 3rd on the team in interceptions. A forced fumble. Like, what are we doing here? And then you have the possible departure of a C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Tracy Walker potentially being a cap casualty. I think Ife Melifonwu this season for the Lions will emerge as not just a Lions favorite, a Lions fan favorite, but an NFL dude, established dude. Give him more snaps. We'll see what happens with CJ. I think a big year from Iffy's incoming this upcoming season. Huge year.
I like that. And I thought of Iffy in mind. I just thought in my head, and I get what you're saying, like a full year next year, he's going to be like extremely good. I'm with you on that. I just thought he, like the last 4 weeks, he broke out. Like that was like a welcome to the scene. This is Ife Melifonwu. Like he is here. That was why I went away from him. You guys already know who mine is, though. I'm going with another defensive player, Jack Campbell. I think this year takes that next step, fellas. That's why I said I wanted to wait, but we saw what Jack Campbell could do, and I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong on this. I should have did my homework and brought the snaps. Obviously, I was driving before this, but when you just look at, he didn't have the same. He had less snaps than Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, and he still put numbers up, fellas. I don't know if you guys have seen the numbers he put up. He was second on the team in tackles. Alex Anzalone, 129 total tackles. Jack Campbell, 95. Only about 35 less tackles. He had 2 less tackle for losses than Alex Anzalone, 1 less sack than Alex Anzalone. He's gonna, in my opinion, and I think, guys, he's gonna take that next step next year. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be an all-pro linebacker. I think he takes the next step over Alex Anzalone to be the best linebacker on this football team. And I think next year he leads the Detroit Lions in every single category, to where by the end of the season, you could say, hey, Jack Campbell should be in consideration for a Pro Bowl. Because that's the conversation we had with Alex Anzalone all year until he got hurt. I think this year that's that next step for Jack Campbell, and people are going to see why he was a first-round draft pick. I think he can be elite, and I think he's like kind of our linebacker of the future. Think about how good that linebacking room is too. If you have Jack Campbell take that step better than Anzo, and Anzo was already that good, like that makes your defense that much better. That much better.
No,
Gentry, go ahead. We have the same one, Gentry. Go ahead. It's your boy.
Me and Booner. You and Booner have the same one?
No, me and you do. I already know who you're going to say. Go ahead and say
No,
it.
I had the same as Booner, and I talked about it.
So I'm the only one that's going to say J-Mo?
Oh, well, no, I thought we were doing one from the offensive side and the defensive side. And
are we just saying defense right now?
Yeah, but I had Jack Campbell too. I think you saw, obviously, he kind of got eased in at the beginning, but you saw different ways that Aaron Glenn was able to get him involved. And I think going into year 2, he's going to play him more to his strengths and venture out into those ways. But yeah, I talked about it. Me and Booner probably have the same 2 players for this. So I'll let you get to yours. But Jack Campbell was mine. I think it's going to be a huge year 2 for him. And I think AG is going to really be able to play him to his strengths.
I have a question. Are we able to say Hutch for this? As far as having, like, we all expected him to have that year 2 jump, but he really didn't. He pretty much had what, a sack more than last year?
Well, to be honest,
I feel like it's a cop-out answer, but I feel like he has to take that next step and really break out into his prime form.
No,
because
I mean, you're right. He had 11 and a half. This year we thought he was going to have 15.
Well, that we argue, at least for the course of the season, Hutch did kind of disappoint as far as the full course. Like, he wasn't bad, but he did kind of go below everyone's expectations of what we thought coming into this year.
I'll say during the middle of the season, that stretch of football, he was gone. And I went on air multiple times and said, "Where's Hutch at?" And I criticized him. And you guys know
that's
me.
where I don't want to.
And
I don't think the Lions, if they want to go chase a Super Bowl, I don't think there can be a point. And I understand because Hutch, I think he was dealing with injury after the Carolina game and he didn't have anyone on the other side. But I don't think the Lions, if they want to go consistently chase a Super Bowl, can have those conversations in the middle of the season of, oh, where's Aiden Hutchinson at? Because the Lions, next year, they need to get that 1 seed. If Aiden Hutchinson disappears for 3-4 games, a month and stretch of the season, I'm not saying that Aiden Hutchinson is not a dog. I'm not saying that he's not elite. But it's time for him to live up to that number 2 pick because you look around around the NFL, the Nick Bosa's of the world. You can keep going down to even the defensive tackles that are taken in the top 5. They go out and they are game wreckers. I think it's time for Aiden Hutchinson to be a game wrecker more consistently because he is a game wrecker from time to time, just not on an every week basis. I think it's time for him to just be a complete defensive end through the course of the season. So Lucas, I'd have to go Hutch top as my breakout.
I agree with you, and Jeff and Gentry, I'm sure you guys might have the same thought as me. What he did the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, that's what you need all year from him.
Yes.
Like if he can do that and put that all season long, that's the Hutchinson you want. That's when you get him as a Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa. Like that is what you want from him. He just showed he could do it. Like we know now what he's capable of. I think with the edge rusher on the other side and another year in this defense, I think he can do it. Like, and I think now he got that feeling and now he knows what it takes.
The key is getting that other edge rusher.
It is. And the point you just made, Booner, about Hutch is where I was coming from with Iffy. Like he had the sample size, but I'm talking breakout for an entire season. Like it depends how you look at it. Like Jack Campbell, I actually had written down, but I figured someone's going to go Jack Campbell. Like that's a good one. It's a great one because he was a rookie who struggled, but there's a lot of promise. Like you're not going to say Brian Branch. I mean, we saw a whole season. He looked damn good. Like it depends on how you I guess take the question. And for me, I think Hutchinson, you can go that route. Like if you want him, if he's important to take the next step and be a 17 sack a year, whatever he is, and be in that defensive player of the year conversation, I don't hate it.
And to be fair too, like Hutch, like if you look at a 20 game sample this year, right? They played 20 games. He had 14 and a half sacks. Like that's still really good. Like that's not even like that's very, very good in the NFL. He he was what 5.5 away from, or if I do the math right, 5.5 away from having 1 per game, which is insane. Like not a lot of guys do that. That's the 17 basically. So when you look at it that way, like he was really good this year at times. It's just like Lucas said, it's about putting it all together for a full season to where in the regular season, you can go get 15 plus and dominate and make an impact, which I think he does. I thought he was going to do it this year and he didn't do it until the second half of the year. And he started slow.
Adam said he'll likely go for 15 plus if he gets more support.
I agree. And that's what I'm saying. If you get that, to Booner's point, that's a huge, that takes the pressure off everybody. That's how you get to the 1 seed.
He also had a problem with your pick there. He said Hutch is already top 10 in his position, he said.
I
Wait,
think
that-
he could be.
But that's why I said it depends on how you look at the question. Like breakout from nothing or get significantly better. How
Do you know
I
how
guess-
I look at Hutch though? Do you guys remember throughout the season, like the first 8 weeks, when you go look at the defensive player of the year odds, Hutch was like top 5 in those odds almost the full year. And
Okay,
Adam did say he agrees with Lucas. I did see that earlier in the show.
Fair.
But like, you see what I'm saying? It's like he was in the running on, if you go on FanDuel and stuff, he was in like the conversation there for defensive player of the year. He was like top 5 in the odds for like the first like 9 weeks. That's where you need him to stay. Like, yes, you might be top 10 now. Get to top 5 and go chase defensive player of the year down. Like, go do that.
Go get it.
That's where I think Lucas is kind of coming from. Like, we know what you can do now.
You
Go
want
do it.
those. You want the Iffy Melifuanus to play like a starter next year. You want the Aiden Hutchinson to go from playing like an extremely good starter to an all-pro defensive end, and that's what the Lions draft him to do. And I think, just to Brad's point, in the second year, third year, that's where you see what the guys are. You already know that Aiden's not a bust. You know that for sure. He showed you that after his first 4 games as a rookie. But now it's like, all right, are you the all-pro that we draft? And I think he goes out there and proves it. He just hasn't yet.
Yeah, imagine, I mean, even Hutch in that game against the 49ers, like that's the Hutch you just can't. And again, he needs help. Like I think Mike said that. Like, and we all agree. Like, if you get another edge rusher that just draws attention, that dude's getting 15 plus sacks. Like, undoubtedly. He'll be more I mean, if he had that second half of the year at the beginning of the year, my gosh, what he can do in this league.
On offense, for an offense one, I think there's only one guy in this offense that anyone can choose. I
Yeah,
don't think there's anyone else.
J-Mo.
I don't think there's literally anyone. Like, this offense is top 5. Every single player on this offense besides J-Mo is basically one of the best at their position, in my opinion.
Well, I have Dan Skipper. I think he big year Dan Skipper.
I put Craig Reynolds, man.
Yeah, hey, he scored a TD
Netflix.
in the postseason. Yeah, I think it's one answer, Boone. I think it has to be J-Mo, right? Like, I mean, who else on this team is going to significantly increase their production that we are confident in? I mean,
Antoine Green, Brock Wright, James Mitchell.
To be honest, Antoine Green, I think that if they draft to bring in another wide receiver, he's going to, or if just Leaf is going to, like, or Josh Reynolds will be back. I'm not holding my breath on Antoine Green to step up.
Let J-Mo cook.
Video coming out tomorrow. Why Antoine Green will break out this season. We'll drop that. That.
You know what? To be honest, that's a guy that Lucas would be like, Antoine Green, baby.
I know.
Come on now. He only did that with like 1 or 2 people.
He's no Clayton Tune. He's no Clayton Tune.
And one of those people was Sam Laporta.
Hey, you could break. What about a Kindle Vildor, huh? Little breakout season, Kindle Vildor.
Remember when we were making fun of him, Jeff? Like when he was on the Bears and he was on the 33rd team graphic. We were like, and he's on the Lions.
Like he snuck
Kindle Vildor.
Dude, I think we did that on. I think we did that on our combined show.
How did he get up there?
Yeah, I think it was.
That was on our combined show, actually. And we were like, who's Kendall?
Oh, look at this. Zach says Sutton could break out from last year. Because here's the thing.
He could bounce back. There's no breaking out. There's bouncing back, though.
There you go.
Because Cam Sutton at the end of the day. He's been in the league. We know what
he still had a good first half of the year. He had a bad stretch, but he was
after
still pretty solid.
After that Raiders game, when Devontae Adams almost had 280-plus yards touchdowns on him, that's when Cam Sutton kind of was like shook. I think that's when he knew. He was like, "Oh, we got a long schedule coming. We got Justin Jefferson twice. We got the Packers, DJ Moore." I think he just lost confidence.
Yeah, you look at his last year in I almost said Seattle, Pittsburgh. You look at his last year in Pittsburgh, like he was quietly really good. So to Lucas's point, it'd be more of a bounce back. Adam puts in here too. And we'll talk more about this kind of different scenarios, but we'll love to see the Lions trade for DJ Reed this offseason or midseason if the Jets start poorly. Yeah, bring him home.
Wouldn't mind that one bit.
Just keep Saleh over there. I know Adam has a thing for Robert Saleh. Keep his ass over there. We don't need Robert Saleh.
Think about Cam Sutton, like, and Shane Daniel put it in there. Cam will be a good CB2. That's where I'm at with it, to where you bring a guy in over Cam. Like, Cam was in such, and we said it yesterday, dude, like, he got put in such a bad position with that scheme, and AG had to, he had to come out and literally be like, fellas, we changed the scheme to put him in on an island. Like, and he had to come out and protect him. Like, he had to come out and literally just say in a press conference, say, he's on an island, and go look at the last 6 receivers he's gone up against. Justin Jefferson twice, CD Lamb, like Puka Nacua, Cooper, like he's gone up against elite dudes in this league, and he was just on an island by himself. Like a majority of the corners in this league that aren't CB1s are going to get cooked like he did, and that was just what it was.
Not to mention in Pittsburgh, he was never like a perimeter corner. He was their nickel corner. He was always in the slot. He was never on the outside, manning up on Jamar Chase or anything like that.
Kind of felt bad for him at one point. I was like, dude.
That's where there's injuries. They affect the roster. For Cam Sutton, he wasn't even hurt, and he was affected by injuries the most.
He's pretty much any corner you put up against those wide receivers in that stretch of the games. I'm not going to say it's going to look as bad, but it's not going to look very good. He had hurt though.
Steve Wild.
Yeah, he was left off the dry for sure.
Like right before that stretch of like elite receivers, he got hurt like the week before. So
but the question,
the
question I have is who got cooked more, or who got cooked worse? Cam Sutton on CeeDee Lamb or Cam Sutton versus Wyandotte? Because he shredded that city in DMs. You see that?
I'm surprised that didn't turn into more of a story.
No, you know what it was?
Got lucky to get.
I'm pretty sure
he
that
shredded
was fake.
Wyandotte though. Anyone from there?
I'm pretty sure that was fake. I
think it probably was.
I'm pretty sure it's fake, and I think ML or not ML, but JPA, whoever put it out, I don't think they realized it was fake, and I think it was fake. I don't want to go at ML football. We love them. Shout out to them too. Those are our guys over there.
So Brad Hendricks says Lukas got cooked more. I mean, that's fair to some extent. That's fair.
No. Hey. You don't go there now. We don't go there.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get into kind of something I was looking forward to be honest with you. Our segment, our top 5 most important players from this season. Top five. It will, and you know what? Well, someone else can start. We'll go around. Who wants to start?
Yeah,
top 5
I'm not going to start here because I need.
All right, Gentry, take it away. Top 5 most important players for the Lions this season.
Okay, number 1, Penei Sewell, the leader of it all, the offense. Obviously, the offensive line has been our biggest strength. I just would hate. I don't even want to think about it. What the offensive line or what the offense would look like without him. Number 2. Jared Goff. Obviously, you still do have some reassurance in Hendon Hooker. Hopefully, you get some preseason games under him. But after the year Jared Goff's having, and year 2 with these weapons, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, you get hopefully a breakout year from J-Mo. Another year with Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's going to be a huge year for him. Number 3, I'm going Hutch. Obviously, for all the reasons we just talked about, if Hutch, his ceiling is so high, if he can get some help on the other side of the defensive end, the sky is really the limit with him. He's going to be the leader on this defense for years to come. Number 4, I'm saying our future cornerback 1, who is not named, who is not found out yet. Whoever he is, our future cornerback 1 will be the 4th most important position on this. Whoever comes in and takes over that slack for Cam Sutton and whoever is going to lock down the number 1 wide receiver, he's going to be a huge part of this team. And then number 5, I'm going Sam Laporta. You're just seeing all year how comfortable he was with Goff. He was a safety blanket. I think year 2, you're just going to see more of that, more of the chemistry blooming. Number 5, I kind of did have Laporta and St. Brown in the same one. I was kind of iffy on who I would choose, but I think you can't go wrong with either of those 2.
Are we doing this past season?
Yeah, that's why I thought we were doing past season.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gentry, get your shit together. Lock
on,
in.
Gentry.
Lock in. You just let all of us pray.
I want to know, though. I want to know.
Season.
I want it known. That was great from Gentry, though. Say whatever corners next year. I respect that.
Yeah, no, he's not lying. Like, it is one of the most important parts. That's
why I was so ready. He was ready to go first. He had the list in order. Didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, he was committed too. I think for the most part, though, you were cooking. I mean, besides just the corner spot, that's really who would you put there instead of the corner, the future corner? Who would you put? Who'd you leave out that almost made the cut?
Decisions.
Come on, Gentry.
Because I didn't hear one name, and I'll get to him in a second.
You're next, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Then me. You're last, Booner.
All right. I have my list right here, baby.
In the notes? Yeah, in the book? In the Booner Path book?
I don't know. It's got to be one of the defensive backs, if I'm going to say if
that's fair.
Probably the best one, Gentry.
I'm going to say Iffy. Iffy or CJ Gardner-Johnson, whichever one of them. Because
no, don't do it.
We're talking about the year that just happened.
Do not say it. Yes, do not talk to your
dare.
Oh no, I was referring to mine going next year.
No. Go. Jeff is saying instead the list that you had the number 3 spot was the corner that's going to be on the other side of Cam Sutton. So instead of them, and we're looking back to this season, who would you put at the 4 spot instead of them?
He said
This past
CJ.
season.
I'm a hard drop. Bro.
Yeah. I was about to be.
Are you guys saying it's a defensive player?
No, you can pick
You can
whoever
pick
you
anyone.
want. But bro,
Damn
CJ Gardner, we're not out. You're gonna make me turn into Sam Flannel if you see CJ Gardner Johnson right here.
Oh,
and I'm
no. He wasn't in mine. I was saying CJ would have been mine for
All right,
next
what?
year. I think you go a lot of people. I would say, I don't know, Anzalone maybe. He had a really good year.
there you
It was
go.
kind
There
of
we
looked
go.
over.
There we
I-
go. Woo.
No,
There you go.
I was
Live with
not
that
saying
one. I can live with
CJ.
that one.
CJ is not a top 5 player from this past season on the
Okay,
Lions.
thank
I'm
you.
sorry,
All
I
right,
did not
we're
want to
good.
get that confused. I was saying next year, but yeah, I would say Anzalone. He did really good in all aspects. Was really a leader throughout the whole year. And this guy said I cheated in school. Yeah, Anzalone would be 4.
Brad Hendricks, my number 5. Bruce.
But there's a
Irvin,
lot
one
of
that hit
people you
Derek
could
Carr
pick
so
on the
bad he was
defense from this
pissing
past
blood.
year. That's why I thought it was harder answering it for next year, the top 5 most important. So that's my bad.
No, you're good. You're good, Gentry.
You killed that, Gentry. Let's
Bruce,
go.
Bruce Irvin did take years off of Derek Carr's life. with one hand.
Yeah, he did.
He's gonna
He
be
did.
walking around like that old dog that your friend has that just walks in the living room. Like when Derek Carr hits age 60, he's just gonna be walking around, just not knowing where he's at. It's gonna be the CTE with Derek Carr is gonna be strong. I feel.
Oh
Like.
my god!
I'm not wishing it on him, but dude,
No. I
got
get,
it
hey, I get
fell
you.
wrong.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I got my top 5 list. You ready?
Let's hear it.
Yep.
Pause. All right. Number 1, Jared Goff. And
Fair take.
because it's not like the smartest man in the room take. It's just like without Jared, you're screwed. Like that's
Yeah.
just how it works in this league. No quarterback, you don't do anything. So Jared Goff, him being healthy, him having the year he had, I mean, you needed all of it from Jared Goff. Okay, number 2, Aiden Hutchinson. Without Aiden, this defense, no pressure. I'll say it again. No Aiden, this defense, no pressure. They're not getting any pressure. Therefore, the secondary that already was getting picked apart, it gets even worse. And they're going to probably be able to run the ball even better. So Aiden Hutchinson's number 2 for me. Number 3, Frank Ragnow. I'm going Frank Ragnow number 3 because
I don't
Frank,
hate that. I don't hate that.
I mean, God, you saw the one season he missed. I mean, I get it was different,
Game.
but they struggled, man. They struggled without.
I say it
Frank
all the
Ragnow.
time. The center is like the quarterback. Like,
Yes.
remember Jason Kelsey came out and said how many, like, he's been making the audibles, and Frank came out on a radio thing a couple weeks ago and said, like, or Dan did, and said, like, Frank watches more film than Jared Goff. Like, he is out there. He wants to know every single blitz packet. I like that. I didn't have him in my top 5 actually, but I love that. I love that.
Yep, Frank, I think is one of the most important players of this past season. Number 4, and this is where I struggled because to me it was Penei Sewell or St. Brown, and I had to really think about this because Penei Sewell is the better player overall. But just with this wide receiver core, like Amon-Ra, he was the wide receiver core, so like he's 4 for me. I'm putting him forward. I'm putting Penei 5, and that was tough because Penei is one of the best players. But I'm talking about just his role and the importance, like. They'd be screwed without any of these guys if they missed a games. But St. Brown, like he carried them at least offensively. I mean, he had Laporta, but St. Brown was consistent all year. So I'm going to give him the nod, and I'll go Penei 5. So that's my top 5.
Yeah,
Lucas, you want me to go, or you got it next?
No, we said you're last, Booner. Last.
I've got my notes. I wrote notes.
Yeah,
every
you got
time.
the notes built up.
Got the
for it?
notes.
And real
Goddamn
quick, Adam
right.
just asked, "What's this list?" It's top 5 most important players from last season.
Yeah,
Except mine was-
Gentry
mine
thought
was
it was
next.
next season. He said
Yeah.
CJ Gardner Johnson put all of us in a heart attack. Felt
We
like
should
were
do
saying
next
that.
Yeah,
season in the next couple weeks, though. I like
Let's do
that.
it.
We'll get to
Jeff
it.
sucks at prepping. You know that, Adam. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Jeff.
takes
Why'd you
pride
put
in
that
his
in there?
prepping.
Yeah, who typed it?
Jeff takes
Who put
pride
that in
his
there and
prepping.
typed it in there? Who was that?
God damn it, Jeff.
It's on me.
Yeah,
that
Jeff.
was my fault.
No,
That
that's
was my
hand
fault.
up
I'm
on me.
trolling.
I
I'm
typed it in the prep. This is my top. That's on me. I
There you
typed
No,
it
it was
in
literally
there.
my fault. I was just trolling.
No, all right. Yeah, damn you, Gentry. All right, what's up, Lucas? Who do you got? Top 5.
So my
let's hear
number
it.
one, I'm with you, Jeff. My number one, without a doubt, is Jared Goff. If Jared Goff, his job entering the season was not to get in the way and just keep this offense moving. And I know he hit a little rough stretch and made people like myself concerned, but for the most part, Jared Goff was exactly what this team needed him to be, and that's the most important position, in my opinion, in sports. So the fact that he was able to officiate at a high level was insanely crucial for this team to get to where they were at. 2, I'm going to go Penei Sewell. I really do not think you need to spend time on saying why Penei Sewell is the number 2 most important player of this team. Number 3, Frank Ragnow, again, you don't have to explain. The fact that he was able to play as much as he did is a miracle, not to mention the level that the all-pro level that he was playing at, dealing with those injuries through the whole season. It was, again, a miracle and something that was crucial for the Lions to get where they're at. Number 4, fellas, I'm surprised nobody had him on here. You know what? I'll save him for 5. 4 is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I thought he was going to be a 1,200-yard wide receiver, Jeff. You were right. He was 1,400 yards plus. But number 5, guys, Brian Branch. We talk about, and there's no Hutch on this, so I'm at
That
actually, we're gonna put Hutch at 5. I can't leave Hutch off. But I will.
I
say
like the
I'm
Brian
having
Branch
a-
thing. I like that. I
because
like it.
Brian Branch, we talk about how Hutch
Well
is
deserved.
important as far as the front 7. Brian Branch, he was important for the pass coverage, he was important in run stopping, and he was even sacking the quarterback as well. He affected all 3 positions of the defense. So I got to put Hutch at 5, and because I wasn't thinking about it, but Branch, he has an argument to be number 5 as well. So I'm going to put Hutch there, but I hesitated for Branch.
In going into the 49ers game on the show I was on before, we did a similar thing. We did basically who was the top 5 players to get the Lions to the Super Bowl, like the most important. And I had Brian Branch I'm at 5, I'm pretty sure. So I had the same thoughts. I almost wanted to put him on this, but there's too many guys that are just dudes. Like this is a tough list.
It's undeniable.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really argue against the top 5.
No, like
It's just the order.
The order, yeah, that's all it is. And honestly, there's some guys that are equally as valuable. Like that's why it's hard, because a guy's at 4 on mine and 2 on yours. It's like, oh, you're saying he's not as valuable. It's like, I mean, they're all valuable. I mean, even
the reason they make the list is because they're that
absolutely
valuable.
Like honorable mentions. I'll say we can throw up some honorable mentions.
Can I hit my 5 first?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Booner. That's my
bad.
Jeff,
I'm come on.
No, you're good. My bad. That's on me. That's on me.
My notes are over here like Booner.
Hey, you're good, Booner. Talk to me. Who do you got?
All right, number 1. I'm with the other boys. I know Gentry didn't have him at 1. He had him at 2. I have Jared Goff. And in the notes, all I put was you win or lose because of him. Like he is like, how does Jared Goff play? What does he do this week? You're gonna win because of it's either gonna win or lose. Shout out Adam too. Yes, the Booner Path is right there. The Kool-Aid videos and all of that. They got the boys going. Number 2, I had Penei Sewell, and I get the Frank Ragnow thing. I almost wanted to put Frank in there when you guys said it, and I was like, I can't believe I left Frank off my list. Penei is literally probably arguably the best tackle in the NFL, if not the best offensive lineman in the NFL right now. You have that on your football team, that value. And we could say, yeah, Frank, he was out for a game and you saw what happened. Penei wasn't even out a game. That man was out there. He gave up 1 sack all season long, which is insane. Like, let's go look at the quarterback hits, the pressures. He was the best in the NFL, what he did. He was the most valuable right outside of Jared Goff. Number 3, I saw a lot of people in the chat saying this guy and Aiden Hutchinson. And I'm with you on that, Jeff. I said you win when you get to the quarterback. When you get pressure on the quarterback, you win football games. And then it helps your defense out. Aiden Hutchinson was the only one that could do that this year on that defensive line besides Aleem. So, like, he was the one that was doing it at a high level. And I know there's a joke about quarterback pressures and hits. That did affect the game come down the stretch in the playoffs, and he was a reason why you were winning games. Number 4, Amon-Ra St. Brown, just Mr. Reliable at the end of the day. He was, like you said, the wide receiver core. And then number 5, Alex Anzalone, baby. He is the heart. He was the heart of that defense. And I also put on my notes, he is Thor. He is Thor. He is literally you saw when Alex went down, things didn't go like they were supposed to be on the defensive end. And Alex is like the vocal guy on that defense. He was the heart of that defense, the green dot. He was everything you needed. And he's going to keep being that. Even if Jack's better than him, you're going to need Anzo out on the field to win football games. That's just a fact. So that's my 5. And then the Booner Path and the Kool-Aid videos, honorable mention.
Yeah,
That's fair.
It's fair. Honorable mentions, I think you guys hit on some that I think are great. I think Anzalone is a great honorable mention. Like
Laporta?
He is Laporta. I think Taylor Decker, even Aleem McNeil, Gibbs. You had Monty. This is what's crazy when you're talking about a team where there's so many great players that it's hard to do things like this. Yeah. Like it just is. I mean, they got so many good players. It's unbelievable.
Jason Kabinda.
Zach says, how can you put him over Demo? Gibbs was hurt most of the year. I think I don't know if they're talking about something else.
Dude, you could just put him in there as a duo. And I liked Adam earlier in the show. He put Brad Holmes. Like if it like obviously it was top 5 players. If we weren't doing players, I'll put Brad Holmes one. I'll put Dan Campbell. Hold
up, Lisa. Sorry guys, I gotta go. Just gotta call. My friend is in critical condition. Thanks as always. Prayers, please. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah,
We're praying
prayers.
for your friend.
Prayers for sure.
Yeah, sending prayers. Thank you for joining us, Lisa. We always appreciate you.
Appreciate it, Lisa.
Sean says, "What about Alex Anal Zone?" I mean, that's a hell of a.
Hey, we touched on it. We touched on the anal
It was
zone.
my number. It was my number 5.
See, why do you? What do you mean by that?
Hey, saying this, we touched on Alex Anzalone. Pause.
Look at Lloyd says Panay passed Trent this year.
I agree.
Yeah,
Especially in open space, Panay took a step, and at that point, their numbers are very similar as far as hurries. Panay even gave up fewer sacks, and in space, Panay just looks better.
Panay had a year,
age with Trent.
You saw that press conference at the end of the year. That boy's gonna come out hunting next year, man. I'm so excited to watch him play, man.
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you. Shane Daniel, 5 years ago, we would have trouble finding 5 guys. Now we have trouble getting it down to only 5.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, and I saw I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. It was Ryan Lentz who commented. Oh yeah, he had his own list. Number 1, Vildor. Number 2, Benito Jones, and number 3.
What a list.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Why didn't he have JMO? What's the?
Yeah, that's
J-Mo his
fair.
guy?
See,
Cool.
that's how you know. That's how you know it's not real. Because you know
where's J-Mo?
if it was Ryan's list, he'd have JMO at number 1.
He'd have Austin Meadows up there.
Yeah, Austin Meadows would somehow. he would somehow make the list. Always. Speaking of the
real website.
That is no. It's
shameless plug.
Onlyfans.com/Hollywood Jeff ASMR. No, nope.
Go
That is
sub.
a real website.
No, don't. The only thing you can sub to, you do it. You could be a Crunch member on here on Crunch
Shout
Time.
out.
I don't got OnlyFans. That's you, Lucas. That's more your lane. To be
That's
honest with you.
Booner lane. That's Booner path for sure.
Yeah, that's more Booner's lane. To be honest.
Don't know what you know.
Yeah, you got an OnlyFans, Booner. Don't even lie. You do.
For my feet, for the Booner path, man.
Yeah.
I have exclusive Kool-Aid videos.
That's where you get
Exclusive,
recruits
there
from the
you go.
Booner path.
While we're on the topic of just talking about some of the best players of the Lions, I wrote this question in yesterday, and I've been just thinking about it. I want to ask you guys, and chat can chime in. I want to get everyone's thoughts on it. How many players / even defensive players are the Lions away from winning a Super Bowl? I just want to throw it out there.
I'm gonna say 3.
Back to our conversation yesterday, you could argue they need a Leonard Floyd in the front 7 on the opposite of Hutch, and they need a Stephon Gilmore in the DB room. It doesn't have to be those players, but they just need somebody to plug in on the perimeter and on the opposite side of Hutch. That's all they need.
No, you're missing one, and I think defensive tackle, and we talk about this all the time, right next to Mac and Aleem McNeil. I think that's more of a not more of a need, and I think it's there, but I think you have 3 needs, and then there are needs that you have to address. And if you don't address these 3 needs, that's an issue for the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes. And again, I trust Brad Holmes, and I said if you don't fill all the holes in, I trust what he's doing. But I think the corner, defensive end, and defensive tackle. Those are 3 on the defensive end you have to address. And then whatever you get after that, that is just that is great. But you need to address those 3 positions, whether you get 1 or 2, 2 edge rushers and a defensive tackle and a corner. Don't care, but those are 3 positions. No matter what on the defense, you need 3 dudes in those spots. You need 3 dudes.
I see a lot of this comments. What about a kicker?
I mean, at the end of the day, if they had lined up a better defense, those 4th down results probably don't look as ugly.
The Anzo thing that came out today makes me just not even I would love a kicker. I think it would help, but the Anzo stuff that came out to me, I don't know if you guys read that or if we talked about that when I wasn't on.
Yeah,
that gave me faith to where I'm like, all right, I get it, but I've kind of moved on from take the points.
Yeah, if you bring up kicker, that doesn't exist in Allen Park like that. I don't think they
care, to be honest.
Now you are correct though, Mike. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of thought about it because if they roll back with Badgley, that's a problem. If they do want to kick in certain situations, why'd you say 2 though? I'm interested. What's your 2 positions?
Well, I was gonna say defensive edge and then cornerback, obviously, and then I kind of thought about it more. You could use another interior defensive lineman. We kind of been banged up there, and then obviously on the offensive side of the ball, I think you could use another guard, center. Obviously, you're going to have some injuries come around there. So I would say
fellas,
3 or 4. Yeah, I'm going to change my answer.
fellas, even with the cornerbacks and the help that Hutch didn't have this year, this team was still up 24-7 at halftime
That
against
is
the
true.
49ers.
You add
And
3 pieces, you win a Super Bowl.
I know, and I that's what I think. If you even have 2, if you're asking me what do they need 2. 3 is like to secure it, but they need a cornerback and a guy, whether it's on the inside or the outside, to help Hutch, because you could say that yes, another defensive interior guy would help, but you have Aleem McNeil.
Yeah.
So he's going to make more of an impact if you have another edge on the outside as well. So do they need 3? I don't think so. I think it would help. I think they need at least 2, though.
I don't know.
They were-
Like
they
when
were-
Aleem McNeil went down, you're sitting there bringing on 40-year-old dudes to be on your team.
Right, but
You don't want
but-
that again this year. If you want to go win a Super Bowl and a guy like Aleem goes down, you want to make sure you at least have someone that's average. Like,
Yeah, but I
you
don't think
know?
that's like a dude. You know what I mean? Like, get a depth piece, but you're not going to go all out.
That's
You know
fair.
what I mean?
Yeah,
That's fair.
it's hard. I mean, it's already hard enough to have like defensive tackle like depth, like to Lucas, where you have like dudes, like multiple dudes. You might not have another Lee McNeil, but I'm with you, Boone. I said 3. I said a corner, edge, and another defensive tackle. And to Lucas's point, you don't have to have it. I'm not talking about all these guys being elite, but you need some service. You need definitely an elite corner. You definitely need a good to great edge, and you need a solid defensive tackle. That's what I would say. But even without 3 of those guys, you still were up 17.5 against the 49ers. That's fair. But we're talking about winning, not just beating the 49ers, but now you got to beat the
Right.
Chiefs. So I would say 3. That's my answer.
What are your guys' thoughts on the whole wide receiver too? I've seen Adam now comment it and a few others. Or do you think that's a dire need, like going into next season, or are you guys comfortable with Jameson Williams taking that next step and being that wide receiver too? I don't think it's on the levels of you, like how you need another defensive edge or you need a cornerback. But I get what they're saying.
It'd be a luxury, in my opinion.
I'm with Lucas. Yeah, like if you go into next year with the same wide receiver core you had, Jamo's going to get better. Amon-Ra, if you re-sign Josh Reynolds and Khalif, I think like you already proven that you can put up points and have a top 5 offense with those guys. I think it's more of a luxury. Like it would be great to upgrade that position. Yeah, like obviously I think any team would love to keep upgrading, especially weapons. But a need, like if you're looking at just like a need, I'm not saying it's a need because you just won without what you had before.
I want to say this too. This is on me. I forgot about Pascal.
That's your boy, Jeff. That's your boy.
There's the solid defensive tackle. I think he'll get better. So you know what, Lucas? I'm gonna go 2. I'm gonna go 2.
There we go.
I'm gonna go edge and corner because they do have some defensive. I mean, they got some guys they can move around. So
yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. I'll go 2 because
I'm
Pascal
sticking with 3.
will be much better next year. I do.
And even to Booner's point about Adam's comment about a wide receiver too, this is a run first team that has Sam Laporta also at tight end. They're built to set up the run first. It's almost to the point where if you add like a true number 2 wide receiver who could arguably be number 1, then it's getting to the point where you truly have too many mouths to feed, and that's where you can get distractions off the field as far as people complaining about not getting fed. The Lions' offense, as far as weapons, if it's not through the draft, I really don't think they need to add anybody that's a true player at this point. I think they have what they need. Just add depth in case the players that they have in the positions right now go down.
Can you put up Adam's last comment there? Because I do agree with Adam and like only being able to consistently throw to Laporta and Amon-Ra. Like that's not ideal. I think a lot of people would agree with that. And he said earlier too, it would be at the bottom of the list if you did put wide receiver in that. And I do agree. Like if you want more weapons, like remember how like Brad always says like what you're great at, you always want to keep upgrading and keep up to date. That's basically like if you want to look in the wide receiver room, you want to keep them up to date. You want to keep guys coming in, and you always want to have the best. So I do agree with it to a point. Like I wouldn't mind them going to getting a wide receiver too, but I just think if you're like need, that's I would go those 3 defensive positions, and then after that we can address the rest because the defense like they have to take a step. The offense has been top 5 for 2 years with that same wide receiver core.
Exactly.
Now you have to take a step, and if you can upgrade the wide receiver core, that's like a big time luxury, dude. Like you're already top 5, and you're adding another big time piece to it. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, and you look at the wide receiver core, not even just say wide receiver. Let's just say pass catchers. St. Brown, Laporta. If they re-signed Reynolds, Jameer in the passing game, he's only, I think this year, I didn't see as much as I wanted to, but he's going to take a step. Yes, it's something they might have to address, but if they don't, I'm not gonna be like it's a problem. That's just how I view it. I guess maybe I'm wrong, but I think how they like to spread the ball around. They got a plethora of guys that can make plays. That's my opinion.
I do think they bring someone in though, because Marv, obviously they brought Marvin last year, and obviously because you had DJ Chark before, they brought Marvin, and Marv obviously left mid season, and they showed you that with Marv, they do want another guy there. So, go bring in another wide receiver. I don't care. I love having more weapons.
Bring home Lad McConkey. Bring him home.
I don't mind.
Lad.
Hey, don't be laughing, Jeff.
Are you seriously on Lad? Like that's your guy?
Bro, he's like Alex Pierce on steroids.
He's got Chris route running. I didn't watch a ton of film on him, so I don't know too much.
He'll be a top like 3-round pick. He'll go in the third round. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. It hit. Jay was ready to be the number 2.
I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's
going crazy.
They need. I think the biggest. If we had to rank the needs, I mean, it is undoubtedly corner. Like that. Mm-hmm. That is in edge. I think they're like close, to be honest, because they kind of help each other. Well, because again, like if you're not getting pressure anyway, they're screwed regardless. So
yeah, but at least you got an edge. You don't got a corner. Like you're still fine to start off at a corner.
I concede.
1A corner, 1B edge.
I can see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would say corner is number 1, undoubtedly.
It has a little edge.
Jared says we need someone in case JMO goes down. Well, that's where I know people hate this. It's not what people want to hear, but you would get a Josh Reynolds expecting he resigns.
I think Josh resigns. I think that's a lock.
I know people aren't a fan of him right now. He's not, but I think that's a little disingenuous because of how he played this year. He was really good.
Yeah,
he was really
those
good.
2 drops sucked. Yeah, who cares? We'll move on. That's how I look at it.
Eduardo says corner is the need, then edge. Yeah, we all agree there. Aaron says Cooper DeJean. I mean, okay, everyone's on Cooper. Man, everyone's loving Cooper DeJean.
He's gonna Jeff, your spot. He's gonna move to safety, to like a nickelback safety. The Lions need somebody on the perimeter.
What are you laughing at, Mike?
Yeah.
Some of these comments are good. I love reading the comments, dude.
I know, dude.
Yeah, that was one.
Jonas is not gonna lie. I almost pissed myself this morning watching Flannel react to Broder.
That's why
DJ was a top 10 reason line.
And people were going at Flannel for reacting to that. Like, shout out
Flannel was spot on.
Yeah, and people were going at him. That's why I came in hot today, because Flannel. There's been 3 arguments the last 2 days, and people have came at him and. As much as we go at Booner not Booner, I don't know why I said Booner. We go at Flannel about not being right. Like he was right, and the people still went at him, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, Flannel. Yeah, Devin says get Flannel on the show. We would welcome Flannel to come on for a set. I mean, he is the man, dude. He really.
What do you think his setup would look like?
A flannel segment each week would be elite. Like just come out here, Flannel, and just air your grievances. You got 15 minutes. Let's hear it. And just let him rip. Just let him rip.
He goes, it was funny because Jonas says it was funny because Flannel basically became the smartest person in the room.
I swear to God.
And I do get, like Eduardo said, Flannel disrespects the audience. I get that. But when he's right, he's right. And like he was right the last 3 arguments he had. He was the smartest man in the room for the last 3 arguments that he's been a part of that people attacked him for.
Especially who we did? The last 2. Or whatever, the JMO and the CJ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Undoubtedly. We didn't even mention Broderick Martin. Honestly, like
for good reason.
Hold on. I'm just saying
future. Let that man develop and then we can talk about him.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying we missed him or anything, but what if next year you got a new D-line coach? Like what if Broderick Martin takes a step forward? There's another defensive tackle next to Lee McNeil, a giant human being.
I feel like we're talking about Levi again.
You know what? Broderick is just a guy that I don't even want to hear. No.
But guys, like he
don't write him off, but
step and be solid. But let's not act like he's going to be the solution at defensive tackle.
He won't be the solution. But listen, dude,
he better be
like if he took a couple years, certain guys in Brad.
I'm not.
Stop. Can you let me finish? Finish. You're gonna let me finish.
You're right.
Brad came out and said that a guy like Broderick is a guy that he's not going to be good year 1, year 2. He's a guy that and the Lions have been very, very good at developing players under Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, like very good. He is a guy that they have made it very, very well known that we drafted him for a reason, and it's not to play this year. And he got thrown in the fire for no reason because they needed him, and he just wasn't it. There's a guy that, like I'm saying, I don't want to hear his name until after this year. Like, give me him in year 3, and we'll talk about it. And if he's not good, then boom.
And hold on, I want to ask you too. The Levi, really? The guy who had a back injury coming out.
Well, all I'm saying, I'm not saying as far as comparing it, but everybody going into not everybody, but there was some noise of people that were like, let's watch Levi take a step here. Levi, he's big. Everybody's writing him off. And I was like, guys, like, let's be real here.
Yeah,
hey, Lucas, when did
Levi with the injuries, Broderick, he played at Western Kentucky, and he still has a long way to develop. The Lions need to draft a defensive tackle or address the defensive tackle position now. I'm not in the same thing with drafting a corner early in round 1. I'm not in the mind space to think that it's okay for the Lions to watch players to develop right now. The Lions, they were doing that the last 3 years. The Lions, all they need to add is guys that can contribute now.
Broderick is not a solution
develops
now.
in the back end as a rotational guy, that's fine. If he's
that's
like
where
the
I'm
third,
at.
then that's fine. I'm not saying he can't do that, but I think to be depending on Broderick Martin to impact the Lions roster is something that is not something that you should just hope on and rely on.
And Lucas, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying was he's a guy, like, I don't even know if I wouldn't even be mad if we didn't hear about him this year. Like, just let that man just develop. He's just one of those guys, like every NFL franchise that's really good, they have those dudes. And yes, it sucks he got picked where he did. And I'm pretty sure we traded for, like, made some moves to get him.
Hold on. And this is
so
where...
I don't think he's going to play. Like, he might not be a great player this year, but he's going to develop eventually. Like, there's a reason Brad took him.
And I'll say this about Broderick, guys, and this is where we got to have these conversations. Broderick, he better work out. You traded up to get him in the 3rd round. Like, let's be real. Like, I'm not saying, like, we can defend, like, Brad's great, but he better work out. So that's why I'm banking on him working out, because Brad traded up and got him.
Don't bank on it this year. Give it another year.
That's true. That's fair. But, like, to
year
Lucas,
3,
like,
we can talk.
That's why the Levi thing, like, that was a miss. We can all agree. He missed in the 2nd round. This is a 3rd round pick you traded up for. He better be. I'm not asking him to be like Chris Jones, but I'm just saying he better be a starter that's contributing in a damn good.
Or at least
a
year,
good to great player. Good to great.
This year, show some flashes and not DNPs every game. That's a start.
Yeah, but maybe this year, maybe next year, Lucas. I don't know. That man is, what is he? 6'5", 340, 330. I mean, the guy is huge.
Yeah,
just let him develop.
Guys that are sometimes, and I'm not guaranteeing it, but there's guys in the NFL on every team that are just big for nothing sometimes. And I'm not saying that's what he'll be, but I think it's close. I'm saying it's closer, in my opinion, that he is big for nothing for the Lions than he is as a contributor down the line.
He played 2 NFL games. Let's just give it.
And I understand, but when you're a 3rd round pick, I think you expect more out of that. And I understand that it was a developmental guy. But the only way you develop is when you're on the field. And if you're still not on the field next year, when are you going to develop? Because at that point...
No, do you know what I'm having flashbacks of right now? I feel like this is like a Brad Holmes, where it's like we're going at a Brad Holmes draft pick, and then out of nowhere...
Again, Brad Holmes is not going to hit on every draft pick. He's already shown that. And that's okay. If as an NFL GM, you're hitting 80% of the time, which he basically is. Good. You are one of the best GMs in the league. Brad's not going to hit 100 times out of 100. And that's just facts. No GM ever will.
And it depends, too, like, how you define a hit. Like, I don't know if Broderick will ever be, like I said, like a Chris Jones, right? I'm not expecting him to be like that.
No, he doesn't need to be.
Can he be?
Who was the guy that we signed from he was on the Steelers. He was like, he's the defensive tackle. They got him real late in the season. It's a
Alualu.
Tyson Alualu, whatever the hell you say. He just needs to be that. If he's not that, then that's an issue.
Lions Blood 89. Can you put his comment up?
I got you. Yep.
New D-line coach, fellas. Let that man coach and let him take over and let Brett like.
Yeah. I mentioned that when I mentioned Broderick, like, new D-line coach, like, hey. Come on, Lucas. Come on.
What if he's looking at Broderick? He's like, big for nothing. Big for nothing, Broderick.
Not Terrell.
Hey, bring Jeffrey with him. Jeffrey Simmons, bring him home.
Yeah.
Please.
Please.
He's just so much. He's so much money now.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I want to get into.
Watch the Nick Fairley slander. That was like when Nick Fairley was good, man. That was one of my favorite players on the
Yeah, he
Lions.
was.
Oh, dude, he was a
He was
dog.
underrated because
Dog.
He never had a helmet that fit him. Never.
it's fair. Yeah,
never had a
Yeah,
helmet
that's
that
fair.
fit him.
Yeah, he got in some other off the field stuff, but he was man, he was good. Like
Yeah.
Auburn
he was
Tiger
good.
legend.
Hey, real quick, too, can everyone hit like on the stream? We haven't talked about that yet. Everyone, if you're watching, just hit like.
Hit the like, hit the
Yeah,
sub.
Boone.
Pushes the
Come on,
stream.
Boone.
Pushes the stream out. If we get, however many likes, it pushes the stream out. Hit subscribe. We do have memberships too, Jeff. I know you know how to do the membership thing. We do have memberships. So if you guys want to join the
Yes,
membership,
sir. Yeah, I got the link pinned there in the chat. Again, almost 200 people watching live. Like we appreciate you guys,
Let's
man.
fucking
Seriously,
go.
we've been
it's awesome, man.
we've been
The
on a
support.
steady growth of the last few weeks, and it's all thanks to you guys. Like you guys make this possible. You support the channel. We appreciate you. We have tons of plans coming out for more content.
Yeah,
thumbs down. You blew it. Okay, well there you go.
tell people about the show. Tell people, like, grow the show a little bit. Let your friends know. I was thinking about this on the drive as well. This is going to be the best Detroit sports show in the city by the end.
Goddamn right.
By the time the Detroit Lions play football again, this is going to be one of the best ones in the whole city. So tell people about the show, man. Like, you guys, if you're here now, you're here early, and you guys are one of our loyal and first supporters. So we appreciate that. It's only going to grow and only going to grow and only going to grow.
And I at least for me, like I've always done this in my career. Like I remember people that
Same.
supported me at the beginning. I always do.
I remember a lot of people who started at the Booner Path.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how it should be. Like you mean those people. I mean, the people that arrive when you're doing well. It's not bad, but I appreciate the people that are there, especially when you're not there yet, and that's huge. Like people that have been subbed to this channel now, we're a little over 3,000. Let's go, boys! Over 3,000 subscribers.
Let's go, baby.
But just people in general, man.
Okay, on the way. Let's get it.
You guys supporting the boys. It's everything. We appreciate you. I want to get in the mailbag though, so get questions ready. If it's draft questions, agency questions, feel free. Galley Mac says it best. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already.
I got one already. Eduardo asked if we will be eventually taking callers, Jeff.
So that is something we do want to work into the show. That's something that we do want to implement. It's important. You know how at least me and Adam used to do it. I mean, we talk to people all the time. I love talking to listeners. We all do. It's just fun. Like you get other people's opinion. We answer questions, at least from talking to them, not just over the chat. So yes, we plan on doing it at some point. Hell, maybe we might even do a thing where we let people join the show with the camera. Like you can join the show and we can talk to you, and then we'll boot you out of here if you're saying something stupid. But if you're here, you get a little bit of time. Maybe we'll do that. Who knows? No, go Booner. What's up?
I was going to say Sunday for the Super Bowl, and I want to let the people know this now. We potentially, I know a lot of people like the live streams that we did at the place before. I know I was a massive part of that and kind of like the head on that. And a lot of people were, Booner, where were we at in the last one? I think we potentially are going to be doing a live stream, and we're going to be at a bar announced hopefully in the next couple of days, and actually doing like a live show somewhere and doing a stream for the Super Bowl and doing that. So we're things are in the works over here, especially with like callers and different things to kind of keep this thing going. Well, who's Chef? Come on, man. He's talking about he is the chef.
Here, Chef. What are we doing? What are we doing? Go ahead, though.
Yeah. But no, I want to throw out the potential of a live show Sunday. I know a lot of people were reaching out to me asking me if we were going to do stuff for the, on here for the Lions game before, but we're working on something for the Super Bowl Sunday. So I think we're going to knock it out and be able to do it. And I think we already have a spot. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, doing a watch party for events is something that is going to happen. It is going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to try and do it for the Super Bowl, but like even I'm talking about for Lions stuff, like the draft party.
Yes,
we will be live for the draft part, like for the draft.
We are going to find somewhere to be live somewhere. I talked to Lukas about this, like downtown, whatever it is. Yep. That's why on Sunday we want to try and do a live show somewhere so we can get a test run and see what we need to do for the draft, and as well as like opening day, things like that, to where we can go downtown and do some shows. Because we're going to do that. Like I said, we're going to be the best in the city.
And we won't be stuck watching it on a 50-inch TV that's delayed.
Oh, yeah.
Fair. Eduardo says, coming from Orlando just for the draft, I want to meet you guys. Man, Eduardo, we appreciate you coming all the way from Orlando. We'll definitely
be live somewhere.
Yeah. That's dope.
Oh, definitely, 100%. Callie Mex says, let's get Dose of Dion on the show. We do have plans to do that. Funny enough, Callie Mex, Dose of Dion, we do want on the show. He does great work. We had Mike. We want to do just a lot of different Lions content creators on the show here. Why? Get out of here.
I think Jeff's the only one on this stream that
Next.
saw it.
I didn't ask for this.
Click on
Oh
a
my
different one.
god!
Click on a
I haven't
different
seen
one.
it yet. I haven't seen it.
You don't want
I haven't
And
either.
I'm
You don't want
interested. I mean,
I
no
think Jeff's the only one.
pause, but I mean, it's an interesting thing to like just pander on, and if it's just you're like, yeah, I wonder what it looks like. You know what I mean,
Jesus. It
I'm
probably
curious.
was you, Jeff. Jeff, you did leak it.
Oh, yeah, we'll just take that one down. All right.
Hey, read
No,
those
I
things.
did not know. No,
Oh,
I'm
man.
beating the allegations. It hips mailbag. Do you guys think Frank Ragnow might actually retire? I think he's back.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think he's back. But if he retires, I will not be surprised.
Maybe
I
next
think he's
year.
back.
After
I think
this
he's
year.
going to come back.
Mailbag.
Shout out Grant.
Merch.
It's cooking up.
Hey, it's
We-
cooking.
We're getting actual. So here's the thing with merch, right? So we have designs that are made for the most part. We're getting a complete like all the types of designs made. We're almost done with the ball nowhere design. Actually, funny enough,
Shout out.
we got the Hollywood, right? We got the Booner Path. We got the Crunch Time. We need a BMG. We're working on everything right now. We will though have right, Mike. We will have the Crunch Time logo with different T-shirts. So we'll have that. Maybe we'll give those out when we do get to see the people, though. And we'll be wearing them on stream. It'll be sweet.
Booner Path
can
merch
we
is going to be out soon.
Can we preview one of them, Jeff? Can we throw one of them up, either yours or Booner's?
You want to throw the Booner Path?
Yeah, throw the
You know
Booner
what?
Path.
Yeah.
one up.
Booner
Okay.
Path. People have been
All right,
asking me
hold
for
on, let me-
months. People have been asking me for months about Booner Path hats and sweatshirts.
And then maybe
shirts.
just the basic Crunch Time ones. Give them a preview of those too. And shout out,
and
who
the
in
Booner Path
chat.
shirt.
The
The
cook is in
Booner
the
Path
chat.
shirt is. It's nut. It's good.
So
It's
here we
good.
go. I'm gonna
They-
put this up. I'm gonna put
This
this
is
up
something
on
I think a lot of people are going to want.
I'm gonna put this up. This is the official Booner Path merch in dice. Here we go. Boom, baby.
Oh
Look at
my
that.
gosh.
Look at
Oh my
that.
gosh. We're gonna
Cook.
get
Can
out
you zoom in?
sweatshirt.
Cook.
Can you zoom in, Jeff? Look at that. Look at that. That is
what we'll
official.
do, what we'll do as well
Look
is
at
we'll
that.
get t-shirts and we'll just say Booner Path and we'll have that. We'll have a Booner Path hat. We're gonna make sure we have that without the picture and the font. We're gonna cook on it.
Yeah, that's sick, man.
That's
On the tricycle. The tricycle's the best part.
Yeah, that
So
and we got
we're-
them we got them in both colors too. So that'll be
Fun.
sweet. I you know what? Now that we got a couple, you know what? We got some time here. I'll go through some other stuff we got coming out. So we'll preview some other merchandise we got here. So here is the
J2D Trust. Sorry, that one just set me off. Lucas needs a Booner Path tie. When I think of Lucas wearing the tie, dude, that just sets me off every time because that was one of the
That's
funniest.
if I'm in a bad mood,
moments.
I'm wearing a shirt and tie.
Dude, no, that was
I
one of the
missed
funniest
that too. I
moments of
missed
all
that
time.
episode.
Oh my gosh, you're lucky. The tie sucked. tie was
good
bad.
tie, Booner.
No, dude, the tie was bad. I don't ever want to see the tie
Shut.
again.
Hey, we don't want to start getting personal now.
We're not
You
getting
don't
dude.
that.
We're
you
best
don't like
friends.
that,
I'll
Booner.
let you know. We're best friends. I'll let you know if something sucks. Tie sucked.
Hey, that was a good tie.
You can still rock it though, dude. I wear stuff.
I
all the
know I
time.
can. It's a good tie.
Eh,
Just offend you. You couldn't pull off a tie like
hey,
that.
here's
I can pull a tie
another
off.
here's
No,
another
not like
tease
that.
of some other merchandise here. This is different designs for
Dude.
different teams. And I know shout out to the Go, by the
that looks
way.
nice, man.
He's in
Roman.
the chat.
Roman, he
Go.
is
Ah.
the goat. And he is a freelancer, so fuck you. He can, that's he can do work. So there you go. He's doing work for us too.
What was that
because
for?
He is a freelancer. You know who it's
I wonder
for.
who.
So they can't
Oh.
suck a baby him.
So
Oh,
there's
the old
there's
sucker
the
baby.
different teams we got. So yeah, I like those are sweet as well, man. I'm fired up. I am excited. Let me check the DMs he just told me. So let's see what else he has cooking up for us.
It's exciting. You never know.
Oh no, Lucas.
Is
Is
it
it
there?
Is
Is
it?
it there? I haven't
The ball
seen it
knower?
yet. So if it's there, let's do the great unveil.
All right, hold on.
I'm
Hold on.
excited. I haven't seen the ball knower yet.
I'm hyped.
Hold on. boys.
Oh, that's cold. That is cold.
That is
cold.
That's
Oh,
Oh,
clean.
he's so
Wow.
goddamn
Brandon is
good.
thin.
He is
Brandon
Let
let
is
that
thin.
man go. Oh, it's dude.
elite.
He is so
Elite.
good, man. He is elite.
I want that.
He
shirt.
knows
I
a
want
thing
that on
about a thing or
sweatshirt.
two.
I want that on a sweatshirt.
Yeah,
bro,
that's-
on a crew neck, on a gray crew neck, that'd go crazy.
Yeah, that is unreal.
I'm just gonna give it I'm gonna carry like 10 of them in a backpack, and when I go out, just every Latina I see, ask them a size, and I'm just gonna create an army. Every Latina in the Midwest is gonna have a ball
Yeah, the
knower
ball
shirt or a
knower
hoodie
shirt,
or
yeah.
something.
You know what? Gosh, and I got to show the Hollywood one too. I got to get one.
Yeah,
of
you
these.
got to.
I got to get one of these. He is just I don't. He was sent down from the heavens. I don't know where he was. Like Roman was created in a lab. I think. Like, I'm serious.
I think you said the wrong word again.
No, they did that last time, and then we went back. I know Latina. It's programmed in my mind. They said that last time, and then
Dude, I
went
think
back. ETN, you did it last time. He's the official reviewer for the Crunch Time podcast. ETN, Booner's throwing a challenge flag. Go back and review.
No, I'm not. There's
I
some
have an
people in the
answer.
chat saying you said Latino.
So check.
They did that last time.
All right, be
Respect the chat.
honest. Be honest here. All right, boys.
I think this is the best design if we're being real.
This is badass. Look at the boy. Look at the boy.
Yeah.
Look at the boy.
Oh my gosh.
Look
Yeah,
at the boy.
The
I mean,
hair.
yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
I
That's
love it.
that is
I love
tough.
it.
I do need to. I need this ASAP. I do.
I love it.
I do, Roman. This
Dude.
is incredible work. I mean, this shit looks like I'm a like this is like crazy. This is actually crazy.
treating you like
Hey,
a Brad Pitt or
he
Tom
could-
Cruise or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
that.
say. That's what I was gonna
cooked.
say.
I did see
Oh,
someone ask about hats. We are going to do fitted caps and snapbacks and
Hey, and then somebody
beanies.
dropped
Rope
in the comments. We should do koozies for sure too.
Oh,
Oh,
stickers,
Everybody-
koozies.
Koozies
Yeah,
are
everything.
like that is a must. We will be
Yeah.
doing that.
I would
And-
love to
and
get a
I'm-
hat that just says Booner Path, just that, just the words. I would love to get a rope hat with that. I would wear it everywhere, dude. I would buy 10 of them and wear them.
There is look at this. Lloyd says Jeff and undercover for sure, Brian.
I could see
Yeah.
it.
Jeff is an op.
Yeah. Yeah, that's those designs, man. I can't get over it. Like they are so sick. I mean, they're
So
they are so sick.
I think we just have to wait until we can get us a spot. I think we're like right there to get the merch launched. We just have to get a spot to where people can buy it, and then
Yeah,
we're
we'll
good.
get all that going.
Yeah, that's what comes next. Like we obviously want I mean, like everything, man. Like I want a keychain. I want everything. I want to be head to toe in Crunch Time merchandise. Hat,
Oh, yeah.
shirt, hell, get
Every
some sweat, get some sweats, get it embroidered.
Yeah,
mean,
and
hell,
then
dude.
make sure, like in the chat, guys, if you follow us on socials, if you guys have ideas of things that you want to see, because obviously we want to give you guys merchandise that you want. So if you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that'd be a cool shirt. I've always wanted a shirt that says yada yada yada.
Any
DM it to
ideas?
us, and we'll do the best that we can to get that merch out to you guys. Because if you guys want certain type of merch, you're obviously going to purchase it. That helps you. That helps us. That helps everybody. So we'll make sure that we can do our part to get that merch for you guys made.
Yeah, I think like things like unfinished business, things like that. Kind of, we're gonna start kind of getting more ideas and pushing more out.
Yeah,
A Crunch Time video game. Hey, we'll work on that one, Steve.
main character Booner.
Booner.
We-
The game is called the Booner Path, and it's a long road. It's the road, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
It takes you 7 years to finish.
and by the way, like Lucas, to your point, it is about the people. It's what they want
Every time. Yep.
because this is it. Roman did a great job, but we want different designs, different things, and of course, different ideas. And Roman, man, I didn't even. You know what's the other thing about Roman? He's so talented. I didn't have to say anything. I just said, here's like a basic, idea. He just said, say less. Let me
He
operate.
just crushed it.
Yeah, let me.
Like that, there was no way we would have ever came up with what he just did. He's
No,
amazing,
not at all.
man. Top
That's
tier.
like, I swear he's like a hitman. Like I slipped him like a paper note and just said like, take care of it. He just, I got
He knew
it.
what to do.
Yeah,
he's cooking, man.
he said, don't worry, I got it. Don't you worry. Fun show today, fellas. It's only
Oh,
Tuesday.
no.
Like I could do. Man, I appreciate you guys. And by the way, don't forget, we're getting some more content. I think content's everything, right? Sundays, I'll be going live on Sundays. I will. This Sunday is going to be a little different because of the Super Bowl, but in the future, in the next coming, I don't know, week or two,
We will be
I will
live,
be
I
going
think,
live.
Sunday, though.
Yeah, so it's a little weird, but in the future, I want to go live on Sunday just for a more come hang, chop it up. I'll have different special guests on, like these guys all around me. They'll come hang out, and we'll just talk. It's more content, and I think the people deserve all the content they can get. So there you go.
Goddamn right.
Great show,
Love
guys.
the people. I love the people. I love the
Yeah,
people.
Great show.
I
guys.
love the people.
You got to, man. The people,
I just want to
people
know.
everything.
I love the people.
Booner,
Shout
they
out
love
to
you too, Booner. They love
I
you
love
too.
I love
Don't
you,
worry.
Booner.
There is no Booner without the people. There is no Booner without the people.
Like,
So
Like,
yeah, hey,
there.
we
Yep.
we
There
gotta,
it
we
is.
gotta
There it is.
exactly-
there you
Hey,
go.
other
bro.
side, other
the-
side.
Get the people right.
You got to get completely the back of the mullet. Show completely the back of the mullet.
There you go. Oh my.
There we go.
gosh.
There we go.
This man does not miss.
Love the people, man.
This
I'm all for the
motherfucker doesn't
people.
miss.
If the people said Booner, stop talking, I'll stop talking. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna talk no matter
Spam
what.
it,
Baby.
please.
Yeah,
I was about to say, you
I'm
know
gonna
that's
talk
not
no
true.
matter what, baby.
He's gonna
I'm
talk
still
no matter
talking.
what.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk. I love talking.
Oh, look at it. We'll get some music playing. Look at that. Little vibes going out. Have a great night, everybody. Tune in tomorrow, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. We'll have videos posted 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Until tomorrow, Jeff Iafrate, Lukas Klotz, Booner, Michael Gentry. We appreciate every single one of you a
Peace.
ton. Without you,
Shout out Lloyd Ostrandar.
There you go.
He
We'll catch
said,
you guys tomorrow.
Love you guys.
Yay!